Beautiful Saturday morning. Absolute or afternoon, I guess it is. Beautiful Saturday afternoon. Sun is shining and it is actually above zero for a change. So spring has sprung. Thank heavens. We're going to be painting Home Sweet Home today. I love this piece, but I have an obsession lately with all things bumblebees, like a serious obsession with bumblebees. I have been painting and designing a whole bunch of things lately, and they all have bumblebees in them. Don't ask me why. I have no idea, but I'm just obsessed with bumblebees. But which brings me to our shout out for the day, or shout out for the week, I guess it is. I have a longtime friend. We don't see each other very often. We have a fabulous time when we do. She's just a kooky, crazy, insanely talented lady. And she has an awesome company called R12 Stencils. And if for those of you that know who she is, her name is Patricia Rawlinson or Patty Rawlinson. Absolutely phenomenal lady, talented out the wazoo, has a really great company called R12 Stencils. And so if you want to look her up, go and check out r12stencils.com. She's a great website. She has a fantastic Facebook page. You've got to go check out her Facebook page. She has lives weekly, lots of project ideas, lots of really cool ideas, projects that she has available, and great deals on her stencils. You got to watch for the sales. She's got great deals. Anyway, having said all of that, I got Happy Meal.
They're already wondering what you're drinking.
Oh, you mean in this? This is cranberry juice and carbonated water.
In a wine glass.
In a wine glass. I like this one. It's a big, fat wine glass. It's also the one I drink wine in the summertime.
Yes.
Well, anytime. Anyway.
That's what they thought.
No, it's not wine. It's a little early for me.
Says who?
I don't day drink. I'm not a day drinker. I'd be asleep.
You're barely a drinker.
I'm barely a drinker. I'd be asleep by supper time if I started drinking now. I got Happy Meal this week. Look at my cup. This is my mug, my teacup. I have it. Be kind. Be happy. I love things like that. Anyway, this is from Studio R12 Stencils. Love this. I have a project in mind. I even bought myself a big wooden panel I'm going to do something with because I just love this stencil. But this is from Patricia Rawlinson at R12 at Studio R12 Stencils. Oh my God, I can't even speak. Which also means that not only do I have something fun to play with, but three of you are going to have something fun to play with, because the giveaways this week are you're going to get a Craftgasm bag. There's some swag from us, pins and pens and keychains, and a mini stencil, but there's also a stencil from R12 in there, and it is the queen bee, because you know you girls are my queen bees. So there is a wreath with the bumblebee in the middle with the little crown on top. Gorgeous stencil. There's one of those in there, courtesy of R12 Stencils. So that is our shout out for the week.
Yes.
It's also not the only Happy Mail I got this week.
What else did you get? You get more stuff from Book Outlet?
I did.
Yeah, of course.
Because, I'm weak. I was quite excited about that.
I got to order new sunglasses.
Yes. We tried to weld them together.
I tried to weld them together.
Didn't work.
I've had them for 5 years.
They bit the bullet.
Or
the dust in this case.
I was working for Oakley at the time, and I got a great discount on a pair of $380 glasses, and I broke them. Tried fixing them.
Didn't work.
Now I got to go onto the Oakley site and pick out a new pair, but I'm not paying retail for it. I can tell you that.
So I was on Book Outlet again. This is just not a good thing. I could tell you, not for my pocketbook anyway. And I found this. This is Creative Folk Art and Beyond. I thought this was a neat book. It has tons of really cute ideas in here. It's an exercise book, so it's got space where you can do your own drawings, your own doodles and whatnot, but it has some wonderful ideas in it. And I was really excited about this book because I do like traditional folk art styles. So I thought this would be fun.
Oh, apparently we have guys out here too. They're not all queen bees.
I know.
Some are drones.
Oh, yes.
Some are drones.
Some are drones, yeah.
I can say that.
Because he's a drone. But this book just made my knees weak when I saw it. This is a book by Rosie Sanders. She does colored pencil. She does watercolor. Check this out. This is an absolutely spectacular book.
That's watercolor?
This is watercolor, yes.
That looks like a photograph.
I know. Her work is just beautiful.
Wow.
And this book, the retail on it was $55. Sorry, 55 pounds is the retail price for this book.
That's
and
close to
I paid
$75.
$10 for it.
Boom.
And what I love about hers is that when she paints roses, they're not perfect roses. The petals are damaged, or she's found them at that point where they're past the really pretty delicate stage to the fully open. Really a unique view of roses. Absolutely spectacular book. But I got this on bookoutlet.com. Gorgeous, gorgeous book. And then, because I have other obsessions, and one of them is lettering.
No.
I know, I love lettering.
Not lettering.
And I found this. This was such a cool book. This is called The Lost Art of Handwriting, which it's just a fabulous, fabulous book. And this one is about the art of penmanship. And it's a workbook as well. And it shows you how to... You're going to take one look at this and remember going to school and learning to do cursive writing. But I absolutely fell in love with this, and I had a chance to flip through it, and it's just a gorgeous book. And I'm going to be playing with this one because I really love traditional cursive writing. It's code now. To younger generations, it's code, but yeah. So this is this fabulous book by Brenda Jordan called Rediscover the Lost Art of Handwriting. So I'm excited about that. So more books for my collection. Love it. Bookoutlet.ca. Love it. It's a great website. You can get all kinds of books, especially just search crafting. You're going to find it. I also spent a little time this week cleaning up my my space because it was just a disaster in here. And so I had to do a little bit of cleanup and reorganize a few things, and it's that season. So, but today we are going to paint Home Sweet Home. I love this. Again, I love bees, and I wanted to show you how to do this fun little beehive. This is not a difficult piece to paint.
Found them.
Pardon me? You found your glasses?
Found my glasses. 131.88.
Okay.
That's not bad.
So we're going to have a little bit of fun with this beehive, and of course some little bees, and we're going to incorporate some stenciling and some glazing, and we're just in general going to have a good time. But one of the reasons I wanted to I gotta find my other piece here. One of the reasons I did this in two pieces was because there's different ways to do this, and I wanted to show you how to use a stencil like this to create lettering that doesn't look like it's stenciled. We want it to have that that flow, that finish, that crisp line. So it looks like hand-painted lettering, but it's done with a stencil. So you're going to get the accuracy because you're using the stencil. But then I got a couple of little tricks to make it look like it's all hand-lettered. So that is what we're going to cover today. And so if you guys are ready to get started, so am I.
That one.
That one.
Yeah. That camera.
I'm just looking at the hair. Oh my God.
It's a little white.
It's a mess. I desperately need a haircut.
Oh, you get a good bunch of people in today.
Yeah. Do we? Laura Villegas is here.
Yeah.
And Mary Lou Harris. Hi, ladies. Barbara Booth Holland. Good morning.
There's a nice even split from YouTube to Facebook.
Susan Welshmeyer and Parcher. Nice. So it's going to be a fun day. I'm on this bee kick, so that's why we have like bee stuff.
And Parcher's at a craft show.
Oh my goodness. And you're still watching? I'm hoping it's busier than what that implies.
You should advertise for us. Just saying. We'll send you a bunch of business cards.
So we're going to have some fun. And the first thing we're going to do is a little bit of stenciling. I'm going to use my Honeycomb background stencil. This one here.
You doing the small one first?
We're going to do the small one, and then we're going to...
Sweet Home?
Yeah, we're going to do Home Sweet Home, well, at stages. And then we are going to cover how to do that lettering. Because I fell in love with this stencil. The Farm Fresh, but I have never been a big fan of seeing these things, these little bridges. It looks like a stencil did it, and that doesn't appeal to me. I like that old-fashioned hand-painted look, so that's what we're going to work on today. And I'm going to use a little bit of Sunny Day for this. What we're going to do here is, I don't know if you can see this. See this honeycomb pattern in the background behind the lettering? That's what we're going to do, and we're going to do that with a little bit of Sunny Day.
Yeah, you could bring your palette in closer into the frame if you want.
Oh, goody. There we go.
You can have it right next to it. There you go.
And I'm going to grab a little bit of painter's tape and position this. I had way too much fun this week.
She's been playing.
I've been playing. I've had a pile of line drawings and sketches and doodles and whatnot sitting in front of me for the longest time, and I just quite simply haven't had 5 minutes to sit down and paint them.
Whoa.
What? Did it freak out?
Yeah, freaked out.
What did I hit?
I don't know.
No, okay. Oop, there it goes. Okay, so I've got a little bit of Sunny Day on my stencil brush, and I'm going to make sure that stencil is nice and flat. And then I want the brightest part towards the center, this area here, but I do not want perfect. I don't want it fully opaque. So I'm just going to go around in a circular fashion like this. And I'm going to let that color sort of run out like so. It's going to look a little messy.
We've got a flurry of questions here.
Okay, go ahead.
First, what is the background color?
The background color is country red. You can use tomato red, any nice, rich, sort of rustic red will do beautifully. I like tomato red and I like country red. Those are my two favorites for this type of thing.
Freaked out again.
And mine must be hitting something. There we go.
And what is the best way to stencil if you don't have stencil brushes?
Oh, you know what? If you don't have stencil brushes, there's a couple of different options. You can do this with makeup sponges, little cosmetic sponges, the wedges. You can get those at your local dollar store. If you don't have a stencil brush, you can use those. You can also use, believe it or not, a paint roller. Those foam rollers, the round ones. Obviously, they're round. Oh, they're rollers.
My square roller.
My square roller. I had one like that. You can take those high density foam rollers and you can put a little paint on the round end. The rounded end of it is where I was going with this.
I figured as much.
Couldn't get there from here. So on that rounded end, you can literally use it like a dauber and stencil that way. But
or you can make your own with shop towel.
You can make your own with shop towels. The other option too is to hit your local craft store and find yourself a set of inexpensive stencil brushes. If you don't have the budget to invest in a good quality stencil brush, even an inexpensive one will do the trick, especially for this type of thing, because we're not really worrying too much about a perfect finish for this type, because we're going to put so much stuff over top of this.
We're not really watching you paint. We're looking at the jewelry.
Oh my.
Yeah, she's wearing quite a bit of jewelry today.
Today I felt like jewelry, so.
Ooh, she's got skulls. She's got her pearls.
Oh, these are my family. I love them. This was on my birthday. My husband got me this larger version of this bracelet. This is my favorite bracelets, by the way. These round beads. Don't ask me why. It's everything round. Cancellation stamps. I like round things. And then the little skull bracelet. I just felt like I'm feeling very scully lately. So this is, my daughter made this for me. I love this. And why is the camera freaking out?
I think it may be too close.
Did I bump it? Did I breathe on it?
Could be.
So yeah. And the ring was for my wedding anniversary. My husband got me that.
That's a Disney ring.
This is my...
Is that not the Disney ring?
Yeah, that's the Disney ring, but it's called...
Elsa. Yes.
Oh no, Elsa's not the one that's the queen.
Yeah, the Ice Queen.
Yeah, is that Elsa?
I'm pretty sure it's Elsa. I don't know. I've never seen Frozen.
Okay.
I know it's Frozen.
Yeah. Anyway, this is a Disney ring, so it's white gold set with diamonds, and this is an aquamarine in the center. It's beautiful.
You can use the shop towel technique for stenciling?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Okay.
I've done it airbrushing motorcycles.
Yeah. Shh. So I think I've done enough there. See, I like this. So this is what we're looking for, is just sort of this little spot in the center of it. It isn't going to stay looking like a spot by the time we're done. So another thing I like to do once I get my stenciling is dry it. Make sure it's good and dry.
You're bedazzling the camera.
Maybe that's what it is. I'm confusing it.
Too much bling.
Too much bling. Nope. Now, I'm just going to give this a light sanding. I'm just using one of those sanding discs. Just so that it's not... There's no ridges. I don't want any ridges. So there we go. So you're looking at this going, how are we going to get from there to this? And this is how. We're going to use a little piece of shop towel. Bling. I love shop towels.
Yeah, the microphone's a bit of a tight fit.
And I'm going to tear it in half and then tear the half in half. And I'm going to crumple one and tuck it inside the other. Et voila. High-tech applicator. And then I'm going to find my favorite black. This is soft black. I love this color for this. Now, the reason I chose soft black for this is, one, it has a reddish undertone, so it's going to work well with this. It is also got a fair amount of brown in it, so it's going to be warmer. It isn't going to be a harsh contrast to that red. So we're going to use soft black.
Anna's the other one, apparently.
Pardon me?
Anna?
Anna? Okay.
Elsa and Anna?
Elsa and Anna. Okay. So I'm going to wet my high-tech applicator just with water. And I am going to pick up a little bit of that fast dry glaze. You want this wet but not dripping. You don't want it dripping all over the place. So I'm picking up a little of that soft black. This part is scary, I know. Every time I do this, I get people cringing. They're afraid to put it on the surface. So I'm going to go all the way around the outside edge. Circular fashion, change directions frequently.
Oh. I know the shop towel technique looks easy, but it's one of the things I've had the hardest time with. It never looks like it blends in well with my background, and it leaves swirls all over.
The swirls, don't worry about the swirls. Mine has swirls too. If you look at it, I've got swirls. That's why I changed directions, because it constantly...
What is with this camera?
Blends them out.
Camera's freaking out.
And this one takes time. When you're using this shop towel technique, it takes time. You have to, that's why you've got a little glaze in there. It's also why we keep it wet, so that as you're working,
Bear with me.
it's going to freak out again.
Probably.
Big time.
You might have to move the camera back.
Okay. I was just wondering if I'm bumping it.
I'm trying to keep it. Yeah. Just freak it out.
There. Ooh.
Then broke it.
It's like, yep, nope, yep, nope, nope, nope.
We good?
I think we're good.
We good. We got it. Nailed it.
So the trick is that you're not going to get this all done in one go. So I have swirls. I have marks in there. And I'm going to dry that first coat, and then I'm going to do it again. Now, I will tell you that if you are not comfortable doing it this way, don't feel you have to. Just because I do it this way doesn't mean that you have to. Grab your favorite angled shader, your BAB, nice big wide floating brush, and float that color into those corners. But I did not want this to be smooth. I did not want this to be perfect. And so I use this method so that I can overlap that color.
Think we need a seizure warning?
You think?
Almost.
Almost. So I'm going to dry this again, and I'm going to do it again because I want to bring that color in all the way. And remember, I'm not trying to keep that yellow nice and bright because...
I did it again.
I don't know why.
I don't know why the camera's doing that.
It's not touching the table. I'm not...
It's always been that camera.
Yeah, it's true.
But I don't dare switch them. Because if I switch them, something horrible will go wrong.
That's very true.
Computer will go have a conniption fit and decide.
Yeah.
Nope, not working.
Yep.
Nope. Did it again. What is going on with this camera?
I don't know. So I know that this part is always scary, putting this color on, because it's such, let's call it an unforgiving color. It's very dark. There's a couple of spots on here I'm not thrilled with right here. There we go.
So much color the camera can't handle it.
That could be it. So you'll notice that I'm starting to bring that soft black out over that yellow. Don't be shy. It's scary, but it's okay.
The glaze is Joe Sonia's fast drying glaze.
Yep.
She's using it out of a jar.
Yeah, I just have a little jar, so it's easier to use.
Yeah. So, do you have a bottle handy?
No,
No.
not handy.
Can you use a stencil brush? You wouldn't get the same effect.
Well, you could. You're only building up shadows, but you'll find that this is going to be easier in the end. But again, it does take a little bit of practice.
I think you'd get more of a brush mark in the.
Yeah, it's
That's what I was
more
thinking. Whereas this, you
controlling
won't
how
get-
deep it gets, essentially.
Yeah.
So I'm almost there. I think I'm almost happy. Now, the thing to remember is that we are burying this slowly under layers. That's the whole point.
Very hard to find that glaze. Yeah. Where can you find it?
Erica Joanne.
Oh, Erica Joanne.
Erica Joanne has it. And if you're in the U.S., I know that's a dangerous site to send you to because it's a dangerous site for me to go to. Erica does some absolutely incredible things.
If you're in Canada.
If you're in Canada, Delta Arts in Edmonton. And stockade.ca if you're in Canada. And Country Bear. They all carry Joe Sonia products.
Did I see Linda Safranco in there yet?
Oh, I imagine
I saw
Linda's been
Jessica.
here.
I saw JL.
I finally painted Jessica's teapot.
Oh, did you?
I've only had it sitting there for like months.
Finally got to the
and
teapot,
I finally did the teapot. It was so cute because I posted it and I hadn't announced it. I hadn't put anything up on it. And all of a sudden I hear my phone goes ding. And I looked over and there was an order from Jessica.
Of course.
She found it.
I found it.
It's been up there like 5 minutes. It was hilarious.
I haven't even seen Sheila in here.
Sheila's been busy this week.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Where
She's
is it?
been doing a watercolor artichoke. It's a botanical study. Oh, my gosh.
The only time I would paint still life, I wouldn't even paint food. I can't paint food.
No,
what
it
happened? It
just makes you
froze
hungry.
and then I refreshed and we're already painting. Oh, sorry.
Okay, so I'm going to dry this real quick and then I'm going to show you something.
Yep, Sheila's back. There's Sheila.
There's Sheila.
Yay.
Oh, speaking of Sheila, did you see the palette she sent me?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, a ceramic palette.
Ceramic palette. I'm the porcelain palette.
Porcelain palette.
I'm beyond giddy because I've been putting off playing with my new inks until I got a proper palette. And I ordered a palette 3 times and never got it. They were out of stock or there was a whole bunch of reasons. So, okay. So I've got all my color on. I'm rather happy with that.
Oh, apparently Linda Safranco was the first one to order that.
Oh, no, actually, Jessica was.
Oh, was it? Because Linda says I was the first one to order it and told Jessica about it being on the site.
Oh, okay. I just thought it was funny.
I don't know what happened.
Okay, so I'm going to bring this up. So remember what I said about not getting things perfect? You can see that there's irregularities in here. A lot of that is the surface too. This is a wooden surface. Those irregularities are fine.
That's very dull.
It is going to be dull.
Okay, so that's not a camera.
No, that's not it. Look, see?
Yeah. Okay, it's not
It's
me.
not the camera. Yes, it is going to look rather dull. Thing you have to remember is that there's so much stuff going over top of this. And we're going to talk about that right now.
Linda told me. Yeah.
So here's our line drawing. The big piece, I just wanted to do a big bumblebee. That's why I did the big piece. And I wanted to do this lettering with the stencils.
Writing my blog this afternoon on my new painting, the artichoke.
That artichoke is incredible.
For those interested. Yeah. Go check out Sheila's blog. Where can they... You know what, Sheila? Toss up the link.
Yeah, stick your link up there. You gotta check out this artichoke. Holy crap. She's playing with really vivid watercolor, like just beautiful watercolors. And she posted this thing earlier in the week and it's gorgeous. It's just gorgeous.
Sheila should be able to put up a link. She is a moderator.
Yep. Okay. So here is my line drawing. And
Inktense?
Inktense watercolors. I have those.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. I love my Inktense.
14 hours for the artichoke.
The artichoke is gorgeous. Gorgeous. Okay, where's my tape? There it is. So I'm going to tape my line drawing in. And I had a couple of messages this week in reference to tracing patterns on. So we're going to talk a little bit about that too. I don't know if you've noticed. Most of my patterns, I usually have the shape, the outline of the surface that I used.
There we go.
Within my, within the line drawings in the pattern. So that it gives you an idea of placement, it gives you an idea of size, etc. That does not mean that you have to paint it within that shape. You can paint it on whatever shape you want. But I like that outline because it also helps with the composition when you're working, especially when I'm designing. I prefer to have my surface shape so that I can figure out my composition, which is just how I'm going to arrange or organize my design.
Of course she has them. I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't. Yeah, that's true. I have those.
Well, you know what? I have two hobbies. I have painting and creating, and then I have collecting art supplies. Because they're kind of the same thing.
So Sheila put up the link in
It's beautiful.
in the chat.
Yeah.
So it's sheiladesigns.wordpress.com.
Yeah.
So go check it out. Read up her blog. She does some pretty awesome work.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Right.
I've been watching the progression of this artichoke all week. And it's just, first of all, her color choices are exquisite. And I know she's working from a reference photo. But her ability to match color is incredible. So this is how I set myself up when I'm tracing a line drawing on. I make sure that my line drawing is taped in place so that it falls onto the surface the way it's supposed to. And then I will tape it in place once I have my graphite paper down. Again, check, make sure that the right side of the graphite paper is facing down.
Jessica says she might be on more of the collecting side.
Yeah, well,
It happens.
it happens. It's okay.
It's a disease.
It's not enabling. So I'm using a red uniball. Two reasons I use these. One, ultra fine point. I really heavily dislike thick tracing lines. I really don't like it. I find them very hard to erase. I don't like them. I like the red color because I can see where I have been while I'm tracing.
This camera is driving me nuts.
I have no idea why it's doing that.
It's not touching anything.
Nope, and nobody's touching it.
There's worse hobbies? Yeah.
Yeah, there are. Drugs, drinking,
She beat me to it. Opium. There you go.
Cocaine habit,
It's
Meth,
a hobby.
meth is a hell of a drug. So you'll notice that the lines in this beehive are not crisp, clean, perfectly straight. There's a reason for that. We want this to look like it is rustic. We want this to have that sort of rough appearance because it's made out of jute. So I'm just going to...
Karen says, I'm looking forward to painting this one. I have the entire weekend for me.
Oh my goodness, that's a nifty change.
You got no Jackson?
No Jackson. Oh my God, that baby's sweet.
And Bill's not home?
She gets a little peace and quiet.
No painter has ever said they have too many supplies.
No. Why would she do that? Why would they do that?
Actually, I can say I've had too many supplies.
Yeah.
I was also doing it out of a truck.
Yeah.
And having too many supplies as pretty much a mobile artist,
Yeah, that's a problem.
that's a problem. Because I would go to other garages and do touch-up work on motorcycles.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have too many supplies.
So I like using this red because I can see where I've been. And it does make a huge difference when you're trying to put a design on, instead of having to constantly flip to check to make sure that you've traced everything. At least this way, when you can see the red ink. I'm going to ask a favor of you.
What's that?
Would you go over to the space on my desk? On the shelf in the middle, there's an opening where I keep my journals.
Okay.
And there is a package of pens on the left-hand side. That's the one.
Oh. Pilots.
Me.
Me.
So, my girl Sandy posted this on her page the other day. This is Pilot Friction Colors. These are erasable. So, and again, these will do the same thing. So these ones have a color in the ink. Comes out. These ones are the markers. These are really cool because you can mark on a surface. But there is one that you can use, a ballpoint version of this, that you can use, that you can trace on, and then after the fact, you can just use your hairdryer or your heat gun, and the color will disappear. So these ones are the markers. These ones are really cool. But you can get a ballpoint version similar to this that you can simply erase with a little bit of heat. So if you don't like having your line drawings all marked up, you can use one of those, because the minute you turn your hairdryer or your heat gun onto it, the ink will disappear and it'll just go back to your original image. So I just find this is so much simpler. And I also love the fact that my lines are fine. I don't like heavy lines. So simply tracing things out. Now, I usually print off a copy of my line drawing so that I don't use my original, and I use very inexpensive copy paper. I never use tracing paper or vellum. I've just gotten used to doing it this way. I don't like using like vellum. I don't like the feel of it, for one thing, but that's just a personal thing. Some people much prefer using a tracing paper or a vellum. I have never been a fan, which means that I had to find a way to do it myself. The other reason is I'm very heavy-handed when I'm tracing. And so I like having the thicker paper, so I avoid putting marks or indentations in my surface because I do have a tendency to be a little heavy-handed. So if you're heavy-handed like me, then try the copy paper version, because then you're not going to put as much. You can put all the pressure you need to without doing damage to your surface. So daisies, that's, I think, my favorite flower to paint, which probably most of you have realized, because I'm always got a daisy somewhere, it seems. I love daisies. That, and I'm quite partial to the eucalyptus leaves for some unknown reason. Eucalyptus isn't something that I keep in the house, but there's something about the color, I think, that just appeals. So I use eucalyptus from time to time. It's just a pretty color to add in. I like mermaid tail and that desert cactus. I love that color. Speaking of colors, I don't know if you've been following the color of the day thing for the last week, but every day this week I've been doing a profile of some of Decort's new colors. They're spectacular. The new color palette is just phenomenal. I did up my book last week. I do it up every year. I take the Decort catalog, and if I get the digital version, I just print it off on a color laser. I have sent it to Staples, but that type of printing is getting a little on the pricey side, considering that I'm just doing a book. But they do have a PDF version of the catalog, so you can keep that just on your desktop if you want to. It's a handy reference to have to keep your catalog handy. One, you're always going to have an updated version with the most recent colors available from DecoArt. You'll also have all of the colors that are still available from DecoArt. I will tell you right now, they have not released a list of colors that are going to be discontinued. I'll tell you now. They have not released it yet. I know people get really upset when they discontinue colors because we all have favorites. I've had, I don't know how many emails people saying, did they discontinue Ishbaltum? No, they did not. I went through the catalog the other day to see if I could figure out which colors were being discontinued. And there were some that from last year's list that I was not at all surprised to see that have been missing from the calendar or the catalog this year. But so I honestly don't think there was a huge list of colors that they're going to discontinue. So I have my line drawings on, but now I'm going to trace my lettering. This one has a lot of vertical and horizontal lines. It is a rustic lettering, so some of those lines are not perfectly straight. Some of them are not even. That's okay. And that works when it's rustic lettering, but in this particular case, I want these lines to be straight. They're a little irregular, that's all right, but these vertical and horizontal lines must be straight. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. And besides, if you're like me, anything that's crooked or uneven, I'm one of those people that I walk into a friend's bathroom and if there's a painting crooked, I'm fixing it. If there is a crooked painting anywhere, it will either bug me enough that I will mention it or I will get up and fix it because it'll drive me insane. And I have a long, thin painting in the main floor bathroom, which is just a water closet. It's, a toilet and a sink and whatnot. But there's a painting in there, a long rectangular piece that hangs on the back wall. And it hangs directly above the toilet. And our big tomcat likes to use the back of the toilet to get to the window ledge. And I straighten that painting every day. Every single day. Because Gizmo walks by it with his lard butt and he knocks that painting sideways all the time. So every time I walk into that bathroom, that painting is crooked. It drives me insane. I love Gizmo. Gizmo's an awesome cat. But Gizmo doesn't care that I have a thing about these straight paintings and straight lines on everything. He doesn't care. He's a cat. So this is a fun font for this one because it's just, I think it's reminiscent of like a tattoo style font. It's just a fun one. I used it in a couple of the printables too, except I added a little bit of, bubbles and whatnot to it. But yeah, I thought it was a fun little font. Nothing too fancy. Just it's a nice straightforward little font. And I like the fact that it's a little bit wonky. Just a little bit wonky. You can have things a little bit wonky. You just can't have them too wonky. Because then, that will push Mom off the edge. So Renee had to take Dot out. So if you're wondering why he's so quiet, it's because he had to take Miss Dot out for her constitutional. She's been doing pretty well. our puppers. She has my husband wrapped around her paw. It's kind of cute and kind of pathetic at the same time. But yeah, she has her seriously. Very spoiled. Oh my gosh, my husband. But my husband spoils all the animals. Cats get their treat first thing in the morning. Cats get their treat just before bedtime. Cats get their wet stuff, their snack. My cats have snack time. I kid you not, my cats have snack time. We don't have grandchildren. We have cats and dog. If I pity the in-law, daughter-in-law, son-in-law, should we ever have either. If they decide to have children, my husband will spoil them rotten. I can promise you. That's not to say that I won't either, but, they'll be really, really bad. Okay, so I've got my lettering traced on, methinks, and I missed a couple because I was too busy gabbing. And I do like this kind of funky font. And I need to do this ooh. And now I can check my line drawing to see how well I did. I haven't put the bees on yet. I'm going to skip that one for the time being, but we'll trace a bumblebee. I like these little fuzzy butt bees because they're not fancy. They're simple. So there's one bee. Let's do another one down here. And then we can trace on the other bee after we do the hive. There we go. So, I'm going to have a quick look, make sure I've got everything that appears to be. Got my bees done. I think I have my flowers completely traced. It's just a chance to go back and double check everything. But I think I've got it. And this is the reason. When you see this is exactly the reason. I'm going to check to make sure I actually didn't mess up. I only take the one end off first, and then I have a look. And I appear to have missed a spot. Missed an E right here.
Miss Dot is currently sunbathing.
She's sunbathing?
Yes.
It's a good day for that. And I think I have everything. The only thing I'm missing is this down here. I haven't put this B in yet. But I am going to finish this line drawing here.
Miss Deb is in the chat today.
Miss Deb.
She says, "Good morning. I'm here and caffeinated."
Good. Then everybody is safe.
I was outside watching a dog eat grass. But I was still in the chat. So.
There we go. Okay, I think I have everything in place. So I'm going to remove my line drawing. And this is exactly why I like to use that Uniball Signo, is look how fine those lines are. And then using that little steel edge ruler, look how nice and straight everything is. You cannot paint straight lettering if your letters aren't straight.
Renee, I'm making your favorite cookies.
Karen?
I already have peanut butter cookies.
Okay. Not anymore.
Hey, 3 for 4, not bad. Oh, three for 5. Okay.
I was doing so well this morning. I hit the garbage can 3 times in a row without missing, and yeah, that came to a screeching halt.
Why do dogs eat grass? It could be a multitude of things. It could be a stress reliever. It could be an upset tummy. It could be lack of nutrition. It could be entertainment.
Boredom. Yeah.
Entertainment.
Yeah.
There's nothing really wrong with it. It's when it becomes an obsessive behavior that it becomes a problem.
Yeah. So we have all of our line drawings in place. So we're going to start with this hive. Now, the color that I'm using is antique gold.
Yeah, it's the ginger snaps.
It's an old, yeah, I love ginger snaps, especially Karen's ginger snaps.
Yes, she makes the best ginger snaps.
Oh, they're so good. So I'm using antique gold for this. And I'm going to use, you can use a small filbert or a round brush. I'm going to grab a round, I think. Now, this part, not all that pretty. And not all that delicate. I'm going to just paint up to the flower. And I'm going to leave a very narrow space between each of those rows. This is not neat and tidy.
And she's going to send us some.
Of course she is.
JL, apparently it's answering Deb's question why dogs eat grass to annoy us.
Oh, yeah. There's that too.
No, it's the 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning deciding to have a bath that is annoying.
Yes.
That drives me up the wall.
Yeah. Oh, for me, it's Gizmo.
Oh, yeah.
Deciding to play with Dot at 4 in the morning.
I thought it would have been him grooming his
Well,
paws.
chewing his toenails?
Chewing his
Yeah,
toenails at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind if he chews on his toenails. I do, however, mind if he does it on my pillow at 3 o'clock in the morning while using my head as, something to lean on. So you'll notice that this part, not super neat and tidy. Not perfect. We want this little hive to have some texture. So if I meticulously painted it all in, it's going to look very meticulous. I don't want it to. I want it to look a little rough. And I want to have, irregular spaces between it because that's what it would have. So this is just that little bit of antique gold.
Is that a number 5 round brush you're using for base coating?
It is a 4.
Oh, a 4. You were close.
You use a 4. A number 4 filbert will do the trick too. Nice little filbert. But again, I don't worry too much about getting it absolutely perfect. And you'll see why when we go through the next couple of steps. Because quite honestly, you're going to do a whole lot of work for no reason if you do.
Oh.
Easy peasy. So we're going to create a bunch of textures using layers. Little layers of strokes and whatnot over top of this antique gold.
Oh, Renee Howard apparently got... Did you have a car accident?
Oh, my stars.
The shop is deciding whether or not they're totaling my truck. He said they will let me know on Monday. Only has 86,000 miles on it, and it's a 2005.
Wow.
That's not a lot of miles for a 2005.
It's not a lot of miles. So you'll notice that I'm stopping just at the opening here. I like this sort of rustic look.
My Yorkies were having fun playing with a crawfish that got loose from a bag. We had 2 40-pound sacks of crawfish.
Oh my
with
gosh.
all the fixings.
Linda did a boil, low country boil. That is Linda's.
We did think of you, Renee. Oh, just rub it in. Just rub it in. Having crawfish, Cajun style.
Speaking of Cajun, I made that huge batch of Cajun seasoning the other day.
Oh, that's right too.
Just getting ready for our next low country boil.
I have one of those too. I think he thinks around my head is the best place to sleep.
Gizmo, yeah. Gizmo likes to...
He's about 25 pounds.
Must be related to Gizmo.
Yeah.
Gizmo likes to chew his toenails in bed with me, and usually either on my pillow or right next to my head at around 4 in the morning.
My dog likes sweet red peppers. The vet says it's okay. Yes. Sweet red peppers are good for pups in low amounts. Yep. Don't give them too many, otherwise...
It's the same thing we have for humans. You get the scoots.
You get the scoots.
So I've got all of that antique gold stroked in. I'm not worried about getting it fully opaque because it doesn't matter. We're going to be putting a ton of color over top of this.
What is a low country boil?
Oh, it's red potatoes, corn on the cob, shrimp,
sausages,
crawfish, sausage. Oh, so yummy.
All tossed in a big pot, seasoned usually with Tony Chattries, would be my suggestion.
Or mine.
Or Mom's. I like Tony's.
Hey.
When it comes to a low country boil, I like Tony's. I'm sorry.
I'll never recover.
I'm sure you'll be just fine.
Well, because mine is based off of Tony Chattry. Yeah. So.
I think you're okay.
Hey, I'm fine.
Just hurt the ego a little.
Yeah, just stung a bit.
What else would you put in there? You got your red potatoes, your corn on the cob,
cayenne pepper.
Cayenne pepper. What's another good one?
Well, the last one I did, you guys loved.
Yeah, it was good. Mm-hmm. It was good. Needed some rice.
Yeah.
Though. But rice is a side when it comes to Cajun cuisine. Mm-hmm. It's not part of the main dish unless you're having...
It's just something to soak up all that juice with.
Yep, exactly. Sounds good. Yeah, it's delicious. Whose house am I eating lunch at? This dog is making me hungry. Well, drive down to Louisiana. Mm-hmm. Apparently they got some low country boil going on.
So I've got that first layer of color on. And again, you notice it's not perfect. It's not fully opaque. It's not... Don't worry about it.
Yes, good. Shrimp, of course. Forgot shrimp.
Oh, yeah.
Not really shrimp. Prawn.
You need big fat
tiger prawn or...
Yeah, nice big ones.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they just get a little overcooked.
Yeah. You could toss some crab legs in there if you want.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah, it would. If you could get them.
Yeah, if you can get them. That's...
Well, and not have to take out a second mortgage to get them.
Renee, Tony's just came out with a whole bunch of new seasonings. Say what? Say what? What? Where's my phone?
I do like Tony Chattry.
What's new from Tony?
It was just hard to get a lot of his, so I found a couple of recipes for some of his seasonings that I make my
own. Tony.
So there we go. So we need a lighter value of our base color. So we're going to use a little bit of warm whites. If I can get some warm white out of this bottle. Holy smokes.
Wow.
Am I going to have to do more shopping?
No.
So I'm switching over to, I'm using a script liner. This is number 1. Didn't want anything too fine for this. And I'm going to take a little of our base color of that, which is that antique gold. Comme ça. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of warm white. I just want to make a slightly lighter value of that gold. Like so. And then, and this is the fun part, we're going to start at the top, and then on the diagonal, you're going to put little strokes like so on each of those rows.
Oh, done. I'm ordering that.
Okay.
So they have a variety pack now.
Okay.
So you get the original Creole seasoning. You get Creole seasoning with more spice.
Ooh.
You get bold Creole seasoning.
Mm-hmm.
You get Creole seasoning, no salt.
Cool.
Yeah. Spices and herbs seasoning. And Creole seasoning light.
Cool.
For $14 US.
Okay. So I am putting a little diagonal stroke.
Oh, those are all. It's a total of 6 ounces. That's not enough to do anything. 6 ounces of.
It's enough to try it. You don't want to have like great big bottles of stuff that you're not going to use.
Yeah, 8 ounce, 7 ounce, 5 ounce, 5 ounce, 5 ounce.
So.
It's not enough to do nothing with.
This little diagonal stroke's like a little comma stroke, but it's not very neat. Don't want it neat. Neatness doesn't count. So I've just gone to a lighter value of that base color. And I'm just putting a little diagonal, kind of like a little comma stroke.
You say what?
All the way around.
Singles.
Okay. No.
That's pretty cool. Hello from Michigan. Crab legs here are $40 a pound.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Oh, yeah. I was looking at getting some. Yeah. Like I said, you'd have to take out a second mortgage. Crabs has gotten very expensive. Never mind the price of a single lobster tail.
No.
First
Cheaper
of all,
to buy the lobster.
buy the whole lobster. They're $24 a piece. You get 4 for $100.
Battery's running low. Oh, that explains a lot of things.
Oh, computer's not plugged in?
Let's plug it in.
What a novel concept.
Yeah, that explains why it was getting dim.
So you can see that this is starting to pull some texture together on this. And it doesn't, remember I keep telling you, neatness doesn't count. Perfection is to be avoided at all costs.
All right, gotta go check on Puffer.
Go check on Bumper. And this is just creating a little texture on our hive. Just like that. And again, I am not worried about whether or not this is the perfect stroke, whether or not it's perfectly placed or spaced, because it doesn't matter. So we just want to create sort of that look of the rope or the jute that has created this hive. And I like the curve so that having that little diagonal curve sort of creates that illusion that that rope is round. And a little space between. Doesn't have to be, perfect or even consistent, quite honestly. It doesn't matter at this point. Easy peasy. So all I did, 1-to-1, I just made a lighter value of the base color, which is that antique gold. Not too shabby. So now we have texture. And I'm going to grab a little bit of lamp black to do the mouth of our hive. Just a little dab will do ya. Don't need a ton of black paint. But this is also where I get to make the mouth of this a little neat and tidy. I clean up a few little things. Make sure that it brings out the shape. So wherever there's that little space between them, I'm going to make sure that I cut into it so that it gives me a nice clean opening. I don't want this to look perfectly round. This is a fun piece to paint. But this, quite honestly, this part is what takes the longest, is just doing this little hive. The daisies, I'm going to show you a real fast and easy way to paint these daisies. There we go. Our opening is painted. It's just solid black. You don't really need to do a whole lot after that. So I'm going to dry this so that everything is nice and dry before we move on to this next stage, because we're going to put all of our shading in. We're going to put a little shading in, and we're going to lift that area where all these flowers are right off the surface. Now, regardless of how big the pieces that you're doing, it's going to be the very same thing. So I'm going to, however, make sure that I put that same stroke of color on this twist at the top. There we go. We're good. So our next step is to start separating these lines, this texture in our hive, and we're going to start with some asphaltum. I think they should change this to Tracy's favorite brown. Asphaltum is not a really pretty name. I think they should change it, but I use it often enough. So I'm going to switch over now to about a 1/2 inch angle. You can switch over to something bigger if you're more comfortable with a bigger angle or a bigger flat. That's fine. I'm just going to work with a 1/2 inch. And I'm going to start by putting my shading in and around all of my lettering. Or sorry, not lettering, leaves. And underneath my flowers. And down the back side, that left side of my hive, it's kind of a sloppy float. Doesn't need to be perfect, but it does need to be fairly dark. And I'm going to do the same thing, right here. And underneath that, we want some nice shadows down there, like so. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side underneath these flowers here. Now I do this before I start painting those flowers because I want a nice clean shadow, and I want these flowers to really pop. So I don't want to have to go around and touch them up and, putz with them to any great extent. So I'm just going to put my sloppy float in first. And then I'm going to do the same thing along the bottom. Just like that. And then I'm going to dry that.
Enjoyed the podcast also.
Oh, yes, that was fun. It was fun to do that interview with Jeff Morrow and Dave Lee. That was nice.
What's the website? Art Supplies Insider?
ArtSupplyInsiders.com.
Yeah. Go check out the podcast. Can we make up stickers for our bottles that say that? Go
If
for
you
it.
want to.
Go for it.
Tracy's favorite. Okay, so now that I've got my shading in on the back side underneath my flowers, I want to add a little bit of shading to each of these rows.
We had a sticker for that for a while.
For the paint name?
Oh, the paint name?
Yeah, Tracy's favorite.
Tracy's favorite. Oh, that's that's what you're talking about.
Color name for.
I thought it was the you're saying there.
Oh yeah, neatness doesn't count. We did have some. I haven't gotten any made lately. So we're going to float across.
Ooh.
Like this on, again, you'll note this is not a perfect float.
Have you heard when Decor that will release the new colors for purchase?
They're saying about 3 to 5 weeks they will be available. They are being manufactured right now, but they'll start shipping soon.
I got to see the super secret colors.
I'm really excited about the new colors this year. They have a beautiful palette. So you'll notice I'm putting that float towards the top of each row. Darkest value to that line, that space between them.
Hi, Linda Wheeler.
Neatness doesn't count. Just like that.
I'm not seeing too much activity on Facebook. Oh.
There's some there.
I can
Like
do a
somebody's
non-perfect float.
I can do it on. You know what? There is a time and a place for the perfect float. It isn't here. You'll notice I'm not worried about whether or not these floats are accurate. I'm not worried about whether or not they are perfect or smooth. I just want to get a little color.
We need some merchandise with your sayings on them.
We're working on it.
The general public may not understand.
So, there we go. I've got that little bit of color in between each of those sections or each of those layers. I'm going to do the same thing to this twist up top here, just to separate. Some fun, huh? I like painting these because they're very loose and very relaxed. So our next color, again, we're going to come back to that liner. I'm going to use a little bit of Sunny Day. And this is our highlight color. And we're going to go in between those strokes, the first set. Just like that. And they are loose and imperfect.
I'm not worried about what the general public understands. My homies will get it.
That's right.
Those who know.
Yep. So this is your highlight. It's going to go in between. Remember those initial strokes that we put on there? That first layer of texture? We're going to put those strokes. And I'm going to show you, notice something as we do this. You'll note that those strokes are not going all the way across. I'm sort of letting them peter out just as those shadows. So I'm not...
What's with that camera?
Is it freaking out again?
Yeah, it did it. Does it for a split second, then goes back to normal.
Yeah. It must be... I must be bumping it or...
It's not touching anything.
No. So there's that little stroke.
I think we might have to hang it from the ceiling.
Yeah. We can do that. We have the technology.
Dun, 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 dun.
So there is that little highlight. So for the time being, it just looks like little strokes because that's what it is. But when we are finished, it's going to be the highlight. And again, I'm not worried about it being perfect. We're creating some texture with this.
Of course, the man from France doesn't
Patrick.
understand what a homie is.
A homie?
A homie is a friend or a mutual acquaintance. It was a slang term from Ebonics, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Yeah. A homie is like a friend or a comrade or
Somebody that gets it.
somebody that gets it. Whatever. Groupies.
Yeah, groupies.
Somebody who is... A homie is somebody from your home area.
Yeah.
From your community or your neighborhood.
I was killing myself laughing the other day. I saw a fellow on YouTube that was talking about Canadians. And now this fellow is American. And he was pointing out, he was literally trying to translate us for his fellow Americans. It was hilarious. And spot on, I might add.
It's the one, the Aussie fellow with the Canadian friend.
Yeah, it's the translation that cracks me up, though. So here is our highlight, and if you'll notice, I'm keeping it to that, remember that lighter valued space that was through the center? That's where I'm keeping this stroke work to, so that you can see where the light is striking the front of this hive, where it's being blocked by these flowers, etc. So there is our highlight. Again, I'm going to pull this up so you can see. These are not perfect comma strokes. They are not perfectly angled. I didn't spend hours meticulously putting each of them in there because it's not necessary.
Okay. Oh, Marina Malcolm. It's her first time watching you.
Oh, welcome.
Hopefully we don't scare you off. Don't be shy. The Kool-Aid's free.
Don't do that again. So
I may have been born in the 80s, but I do understand history. And those kind of jokes still.
Yep.
George Carlin's still one of my favorite.
Yep. So I'm taking a little bit of soft black, and I'm just going to put a little stroke of soft black in just to define some of the spaces on that curve, because I find it was getting a little bit lost. So now we're going to bring this all together. So we have to make this cohesive. So I'm going to use a little bit of thinned asphaltum and a liner brush. And we're going to start with right on that line by putting two little vertical lines like so.
Why do I have this image in my head that once things get back to semi-normal, that we go do like Oklahoma.
Uh-huh.
If we go to Oklahoma and we have like 200 of our closest followers show up in black cloaks with their faces hidden, humming like a cult,
No.
all wearing like little Tracy Moreau pins.
They can show up in their favorite painting shirt. They can show up in their pajamas if they want to. I'm good with it.
Ah, the Walmart special.
Walmart special. If you're wondering about the Walmart special thing, yeah, My husband is a bit meticulous.
A little bit?
Just a little bit. He's meticulous. He's meticulous about a great many things, and his personal appearance is one of them. He never leaves the house without, a reasonably...
He makes himself presentable.
He does, very much so. Clean jeans, clean shirts. He's always presentable. He doesn't know how to not be presentable. He was a soldier for 37 years. So it's just not in his makeup. And yesterday he went to pick up our daughter at work. There was a gentleman going into the store wearing the same pajamas that my husband wears to bed. My husband had a great deal of difficulty with that.
Has anyone been scared off?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I honestly don't know if
but
anybody's been
we
scared
do
off.
have a great deal of fun, so welcome.
Yeah.
And if you're fun-loving, then you're in the right place.
We do have to test your sense of humor every once in a while.
I might test your patience from time to time, too. But that's just me.
I'm the sense of humor kind of person.
Yeah. So all I'm doing is just putting in... There, if you have a look, they're just 2 little hash marks.
Bunny ears.
Bunny ears. Bunny leaves.
Bunny leaves.
And somebody will explain that to you, too.
You'll find the YouTube channel, and then it's like...
Bunny leaves. So
have you ever watched a show and get hooked on an episode right in the middle of the series, and they go, all right, binge watching the whole thing?
Yeah.
Once you find the YouTube channel, that's going to happen to you.
Yeah. So I've used all of that just to connect all of those rows together. And it's just a little bit of thinned asphaltum and a liner brush. So now I can trace my Bumblebee back on, because I was going to paint over it anyway. Which is the perfect time to talk about painting these bumblebees.
I'm late, looking good.
This is very relaxed. This piece, doing this texture and whatnot in here, very relaxed and fun.
Costco has nice BJs.
They do have nice BJs. So I'm going to trace my Bumblebee back on. And this is another reason that I do this the way I do. Because if I tape it back in place, like so.
I'm trying to keep it slang free.
Slang free. So white graphite, face down. It's got to have it the right direction. And I'm just going to quickly trace my Bumblebee. I like my little fuzzy butt bumblebees. Ta-da.
I have spent a year in England, so I'm fine with British slang, but American Canadian, that's a bit difficult. But I'm learning. Poor Patrick.
Patrick, if you ever have the opportunity to come and visit us in Canada.
So I'm going to stick to your rib, eh?
Might I some go to your ribs now, huh? I'm originally from the east coast of Canada.
No. Couldn't tell.
I live on the east coast of Canada. And one of the things that people are always fascinated by is that we have Newfoundlanders, which is a completely different breed from the rest of the world. We have Cape Bretoners.
Yeah.
Again, completely different breed from the rest of the world. And then we have your Blue Nosers, which are folks from Nova Scotia. And then we have people from New Brunswick. We have Islanders, which are from Prince Edward Island. We all have our own accent.
And that's only 3 provinces.
Yep, it's only, 4 different places 3 different provinces.
Mind you, Cape Breton would say otherwise.
Yeah, that's true. And so, yeah, we have very different accents, and it varies drastically depending on where you live. Here, New Brunswick, we do have an accent, but it's not super thick depending on where you are.
It's little words.
It's little words. Right?
I've noticed that even speaking with my best friend last night, and yeah, he was laughing. It's like, it's back.
Yep.
Your accent's back. I'm like, no, it's not. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
It is, but it's little words. Little words.
Not. It's not. Yeah. We have a tendency to drag things out a little bit.
And slow things down.
And slow things down, which is never a bad thing. Yeah. Newfoundlanders, however, speed it up.
Because they got to get it out.
He runs their words together. But yes. So slang, believe me, we have lots of it here on the East Coast because we have a really unique...
Stick truck.
We have a culture here, like a really unique culture compared...
I've never heard that term before.
What, stick truck?
Stick truck. It's a logging truck. It's a stick truck.
Yeah.
It hauls sticks.
Yeah, it's loaded with sticks.
After being here 18 years, I know a mutt bit of both. Yeah. Midwest and Canadian.
Yep.
I love Nova Scotia, Cape Breton, PEI. Spent a month vacationing there with my mom. Do you use just paper for your patterns? I've been putting them on vellum.
I just use copy paper.
Yep.
The cheapest copy paper I can get my hands on. Simply because I am very heavy-handed. When I'm tracing, I have a tendency to press very hard.
You'd rip vellum, wouldn't you?
Well, it dents it and buckles the vellum.
Ah.
One of the reasons I'm not a fan. It has nothing to do with the paper quality and everything to do with me.
No, we don't speak French, but we understand it.
Yeah.
I can speak bad French.
Yeah, I speak bad French, but I do understand a lot of it. My husband is fully bilingual. French is his first language. I know, you look at the last name and go, really? Big surprise.
Big question mark.
Yeah.
In the blink of an eye, a beehive.
Yep.
It only took an hour and
30 minutes.
Is that all? It's all good. Now, this little fuzzy butt bumblebee, I'm going to paint his bottom with a little bit of warm white. Because I'm going to use yellow on him, I want it to be nice and opaque, so I don't have to put 10 different coats on. So I'm going to put a little bit of warm white on his fuzzy butt. I love fuzzy butt bumblebees.
Oh. GL Brewer with the French. Talking to Patrick. Now the question is...
That's Canadian French. And Patrick is from France. So...
Oh, he'll get it.
Oh, it's not that different.
No, we
it's
do
just
have
certain
a lot
words won't make sense.
Not so much with the written. It's the spoken that's the problem.
Oh, yeah, the pronunciation of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see
and
that.
That changes from place to place, too, because, I mean, here we have what's called shek.
Yeah.
We have akedzi and shek. And there's akedzi, and my husband is a Breton, which is another whole different ethnicity within the French Canadian community here. Akedzi or Acadians are that is their historical origins here.
Renee, I thought you speak field talk. I do in 2 languages.
Yeah. Field mouth, I call it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got my bumblebees based in with a little bit of warm white. I like 2 coats on the wings just to give them a little more brightness. But if you can get them fairly even in 1 coat, more power to you. I just did not. So I'm going to put a 2nd coat on just to make sure they're nice and opaque. But perfection, we're not looking for perfection.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about French Canadians, but they have a tendency to put H's where they don't need to be.
H, yeah.
And then take away H's where they need to be.
I've lost my at.
I don't get that.
So, our next step for this is to start working on our flowers and our leaves. Now, our leaves are base coated with antique green. And I like working from the back forward. And I just noticed a goof up.
A goof up?
Uh-huh.
There's another word for that.
Yeah, I'm calling it a goof up.
Yeah.
You can call it whatever you want.
I'm trying to keep our PG rating.
Yeah.
And so far, we're doing pretty good.
Not too bad.
And
Haven't had any warnings anyway.
Third.
Turd? Oh, that's not just the French Canadians.
No. That's Newfoundlanders, people from PEI. It's the 3rd time I told you.
Yeah.
How many times can I tell you?
Well, the East Coast, as I said, has a plethora of accents, depending on where they're from.
Miramichi.
Miramichi has their own, yeah.
Yeah. You can tell somebody who's from Miramichi.
Well, just like you can tell somebody who's from Burnt Church.
Or Crow's Mills.
Or, hey,
You have an accent.
I do have an accent. Sometimes.
But you're not going to laze it on us, are you?
I'm not, no. You think mine's tick. You should hear mother's is tick. Mine's not too bad.
And the prairie dwellers have their own accent.
Yeah, Flatlanders.
Flatlanders.
Yeah. So everywhere you go in this country, they have different accents. But it's the same in the States. You get people in Wisconsin and people in Michigan and New York.
People from Winnipeg are also known as snow goblins.
Yep. Peggers.
Peggers.
Snow goblins. I don't want to rub it in, but man, did they ever get lambasted last week? Folks in Winnipeg just get absolutely hammered with snow. Poor lads. Poor lambs. So I'm just going to fill in these leaves with a little bit of antique green. Generally 1 coat will do it. But if you find they're not quite opaque enough for you, if they're too streaky, go ahead and put a 2nd coat on. It won't hurt.
Anything technical coming up?
Technical as in?
While you're painting, or are you just going to base coat leaves?
No, we're going to be doing something technical.
Like, how shortly?
How shortly?
Yeah.
I don't know, 2 minutes?
2 minutes?
Why?
I'm spinning the wheel.
Oh, that's a good idea. You go right ahead and spin the wheel.
You keep base coated. Gotta switch cameras. Gotta get my wheel out.
Yeah, they've been very patient sitting there for a while. It's time they got a prize.
That's a good chunk of names.
Yep.
You want a Chevy Colorado? That's the ad for the day.
Oh. So the giveaways this week are, again, there's a really cute queen bee stencil. Got a gorgeous little bee in the middle of a wreath with a crown over top of it. It's a beautiful little stencil from our 12 stencils. Plus there's a Craftgasm bag and some other little goodies in there.
Whoa!
Oh my gosh, I can't even read that. Look at my hair. Did I even comb it this morning? It doesn't look like it.
All right, try to make it a...
Cute, cute, cute.
I didn't mean to cover you up there. There we go. Just trying to fit the wheel in here so they can actually read who wins. There we go. There we go. All right. Also trying to do it without showing their names. Because, you know, things. Yeah, right. A bunch of names on there.
There is a bunch of names on there. Holy Moses. I'm looking at the wheel. I can't read anything on there.
All right, it's spinning. Who do we got? Kathy Baldwin.
Kathy Baldwin. Nice. I have Kathy's shipping information. So Kathy, we'll drop that in the mail for you on Monday.
Oh, you have her shipping information?
Yep.
Okay. And I'll do one more.
Okay.
Since we got 3 to give away here.
Yep, and I still got a couple more leaves to base going here.
All right. Gives you time to catch up.
Yep.
Everybody's ahead of you.
Well, and then they get, goodies to celebrate.
And the second person is... I am going to butcher this last name. Carol Bailey?
Carol Beagley.
Beagley?
Yep.
Okay.
And I do believe we have Carol's shipping information too.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. I'm just write it down. Carol B-E-E. G-H-L-Y.
Beagley.
Beagley. Okay. All right. And we'll save one for the end.
Yep.
Sounds good. Kathy Baldwin and Carol
Beagley.
Beagley.
I thought there was going to be some, some Ukrainian name or whatever. But nope. Beagley. You get stumped on Beagley.
Now, you guys still have a chance to enter. All you got to do is like and talk in the chat.
That's it.
That's it. So
Super easy
if
to
you
get
haven't
entered.
done that yet, hit the like button. Say hi in the chat. Doesn't matter if you're on YouTube or Facebook. We see it.
Yep.
And your name goes into the wheel.
So I got to fix my little boo-boo. Maybe when I was stroking in the hive, I missed a spot. Right there. But I need to get that color in, so I'm just going to paint that in. And then I'll dry it. So we're going to talk about these leaves. So the leaves on this piece, in this case, underneath these daisies, these are based with antique green. And the shading color for this is plantation pine. My 2 favorite greens. If you painted anything in mine, you probably figured that out. Because I use those 2 colors a lot. So we're going to shade our leaves with some antique green. And up underneath our daisies, I'm going to put a float like so. Now, if you don't have plantation pine, you can use black green. Or if you have the fluid acrylics handy, you can use some sap green. This color is very transparent, so it may take a couple of goes to get it nice and deep, but that's okay. So you'll notice I'm not too worried about going over top of those flowers because I haven't painted them yet. So, and this is just the easiest way to get that shading color in. Working from the back forward and doing each stage. Now on these little leaves up here, these small leaves, I don't putz too much with them. I'm just putting a nice little U-shaped float at the base of the leaf. That helps give it that curved look because when we put the highlight towards the tip of the leaf, it's going to accentuate that. So there is the shading. Now I've just put that one shadow in so far, so we still have shading to put down the center veins. And you can deepen them if you feel they're not dark enough yet or not dark enough to suit you. You can go back in with another float. And don't be afraid to do that. So I'm going to show you a little trick to get really nice shape to your leaves. So I'm just deepening that space underneath the flower. You know, where the petals overlap that leaf, that's what I'm doing right now. So I've got a nice dark shadow on there. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm just going to put a little shadow in there. I'm going to rinse out my brush. And then I'm going to switch to matcha green, which is my lighter value. This is my highlight color for these leaves.
Those, it's come up in the chat a few times. Mm-hmm. It is artsuppliesinsider.com.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you want to go check out the podcast with
Jeff Morrow and Dave Lee.
Yeah, Jeff Morrow and Dave Lee, go to artsuppliesinsider.com. They do a great interview with your one and only. I wasn't there. They didn't want to talk to me.
artsuppliesinsiders.com.
I'll see if I can't grab a link. Make it easy.
Yep. They're great guys. I've known them for a very long time.
Is it Art Supply or Supplies?
Art Supply Insider, I do believe. The link is actually on my Facebook page. So I'm just tip loading to float.
Ooh, no, it took me straight to GoDaddy.
Okay, then it's artsuppliesinsiders.com. Go to my Facebook page and pull up the link from there.
Ah, got it.
Yep.
And it's interview number 17.
Yep. So I'm going to put a highlight on my leaves. I've got a little bit of that matcha green on there, and I'm going to just a rough float. I am not, you notice how it kind of looks a little choppy at the edges? I like it that way. And I'm going to do that to the edges of all of these leaves, these larger leaves.
There we go. Got the link up there. I just realized on our broadcasting platform, whenever my mom posts something in the chat, it has a little crown next to her name.
Seriously?
Yes.
Yes.
She gets a crown.
So there should be. That's why I said I love that joke. And I went to my dentist and he told me that I needed a crown. And I'm like, I know, right? Not for the same reasons. So that little highlight is very choppy and imperfect. I want these leaves to sort of have a little bit of a serrated edge.
What color can you use if you don't have mermaid tail?
Mermaid tail, you can use mermaid tail. That's the color I'm using for the eucalyptus. If you don't have that color, you can go to peacock teal. Will do the job too. Or if you really want them quite green, jewel green will work. You just need something that's a jewel tone, quite transparent and a little dark. So either one of these will work beautifully.
Are fluid acrylics all transparent colors?
The bulk of them are. There are only a few exceptions. Titan Buff, Titanium White, all of the gray values. The rest are pretty much transparent.
Yeah, you don't really see a transparent gray.
And they're transparent for a reason. Because you generally work them over top of other things. I'm a huge fan. I absolutely love my fluid acrylics. Artful Webinars. I don't know if any of you follow them on Facebook. Great group. They have a thing coming up this year that I've agreed to participate in, which is the Christmas in July thing. So I'm excited about that. That one's going to be a lot of fun. So I have to come up for a Christmas project for that. So I'm rather excited.
Will this video be available elsewhere if I purchase the pattern?
Oh, it'll be available on my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can access it.
You can watch it at any time.
Anytime. All the Saturday lives are recorded and archived.
Yep.
And put on the YouTube channel. Facebook sadly doesn't have an archiving feature that is instant.
Yep.
So you got to wait a little bit for that to come back.
Yep.
But YouTube, luckily, instantly archives our lives.
Yep. And just go to my YouTube channel at Tracy Moreau Design. And you can...
Boom. Find it.
Boom. You can find it there.
By title.
Yep. Just look for the name of the pattern. That's all you have to look for. Because that's what we post them by. So I have put all my little highlights in. Just making sure I got... I tell ya, I am batting 1,000.
Are we going to have to turn that cranberry juice to wine?
Probably at the rate I'm going. I missed 2 leaves here. Hello. Thankfully, they're just leaves.
Ooh. How about a nutcracker?
I have one.
Oh, okay. There's one in the works.
Yep.
Your paint always looks perfect consistently.
What's that?
Your paint always look like perfect consistency?
It's because I use this.
Milk.
I use Dos Anjos Fast Dry Glaze instead of water. That way my paint stays at a nice consistency all the time.
You can watch this later on YouTube, yeah. Of course, you're Queen Bee. You are Queen Bee.
I can be a bee.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah. He knows.
Don't poke Mama Bear.
Yep. Don't poke my bear. Okay. So I missed these 2 tiny little leaves down here. So I needed to go back in, put the base color in, throw the shadow in. Now I can go ahead and put a little highlight at the tip of that leaf.
Oh. Our YouTube members, we have some fun news for you.
Yes. That's going to make a huge difference, I think.
We got a new feature that some of you are going to like. But we'd prefer you if you went to the YouTube channel. Just saying.
Just saying. But for the lives, for our live class every month, we have a really neat new feature. And we'll fill you in more in the coming days once we get it all sorted out. But yeah, we've got a new feature that's going to make your life so much simpler when it comes to watching the lives. So we're excited about that.
Yep. I'm excited because it simplifies a lot of things.
Yeah.
And reduces our social media imprint. Mm-hmm. So it's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. So now that I have the shading at the base of the leaves, I have some of the highlights in. There's, I do have a little highlight I need to put in, and that's down the center vein right here, just to shape that leaf. I'm going to put that highlight in real quick. Oops. Gonna turn it around. I feel like I'm driving a truck. I've been turning this thing so much.
Teasers?
Oh, and we have our class coming up Tuesday night. My membership group's got their class Tuesday
Holy
night.
poop, yeah, it is.
So I'm rather excited about it.
That's the 26th.
It is. I don't know where the month went. Holy smoke.
It's April?
Yep. I know. Coming up on May.
Okay, we still got May.
Yep.
Oh,
we're
man.
coming up on a whole year.
What do I got coming up in May? I may be off to Dieppe or Bathurst
When?
in May.
Oh, okay.
I just got to find out when.
Uh-huh.
And
Yes, you do.
and if it is even happening.
Yeah.
It's Blake Shelton is coming to
Ooh.
Bathurst to do a concert. So
Yeah. Renee works security.
so
Okay, so I've got I'm just going to punch up a couple of highlights here I'm not thrilled with, but there we go. Okay, I've got all my highlights in place. I put that nice little highlight on my center vein. And now I'm going to shade my center vein. And I like doing it this way because it gives me a nice, crisp float. I love the shape that gives me on my leaves. It gives me a nice sharp. So there's our pretty leaves. Look at that.
I just can't wait to be able to watch on my TV again. Been watching on my phone screen for the last 2 months.
Oh my goodness.
Ouch.
Yeah, our new this new feature is going to make a big difference, I think. Yeah. I know it's making a difference for us. It's going to really be great for you guys.
Put it this way, no more hunting for the live.
Yep. No more hunting for the live. I know because we work on so many different devices and they all work differently. So it gets really frustrating. Okay, so I've got my leaves. I'm happy with my leaves. Got my shading, got my highlight in. Now we're going to come down and do these, this eucalyptus leaf.
What about that leaf up top?
It's fine. It's got the little
Okay.
highlight on it. Don't do that to me.
Sorry.
So I'm using a little bit of mermaid tail. I love this teal. It's just such a pretty color. And I'm going to get a little bit of... It is a very strong color, so you're not going to need a ton of it. I've got just a little bit. And I'm going to thin it out. I've got a little bit of Joe Sonia's on my brush. And I'm going to float down the center vein of my leaf. Follow that curve in the leaf. Just like so.
I'll try to have that camera thing sorted out for Tuesday.
Oh my goodness.
It's bugging me and it hasn't moved. We don't know why it's doing it.
Yeah. So I'm putting a little float down that center vein, like so, with that mermaid tail. And I'm going to dry this. And then I'm going to, on the lower end, opposite petal, I'm going to put a little float of mermaid tail on this side.
This is for Jarita Norwood.
Okay.
What is the glaze you use instead of water?
This one is Joe Sonia's Fast Dry Glaze. Let me see if I find my bottle.
Yeah, some people need that reference
Yeah.
so that. Like,
I'm getting low again.
are you? Sandy! I don't think Sandy's here today.
No, Sandy's got lots on her plate. I don't know. Oh,
You have a bottle?
I have one left.
You have one bottle left.
I have one bottle left. This is Joe Sonia's Fast Dry Glaze.
Down a little. There, up.
There.
There.
How's that?
Right there.
I love this stuff. Another product that you can use, it is very difficult to find, however, but yes, is a little bit of Finny. It's made by SPC Corp out of Winnipeg. If you can get your hands on a bottle of that, it does the same thing. But the Joe Sonia's Fast Dry Glaze, I have found works absolutely beautiful for this. It acts like a flow medium. It acts like a bonding agent. It helps keep your paint from breaking down. I don't get those halos or a lot of separation because I use this. So get yourself some. And then keep a shot glass, or I use this little jar with a lid on my painting table. But it's awesome. So, and it keeps your paint moving. So I'm just putting a little float right there. And now I'm going to rinse that out.
Oh, there's Carol Beagley. Lovely spring project. We'll need to watch the replay. Missed most of the broadcast. Well, you won
one
something.
Of the prizes today.
So, I don't know if you were here for that. You probably popped in and liked and
Popped out.
But you won a prize.
Yep.
But she had a question.
Shoot.
Oh, no, that wasn't. Where is it? That was Beverly. Sorry. What color was the eucalyptus base coated with?
The base color for this is Desert Cactus. It's a kind of a muddy green. But it's ideal for this when you put it underneath that mermaid tail or that peacock teal. It gives you that eucalyptus color. It's really great. And then just to punch up that eucalyptus look and give it sort of that frosted appearance, I take heavily thinned warm white as my highlight color. And it's just a little bit, but that's what gives it sort of that frosted appearance. You know, that eucalyptus sort of has that, I like to call it frosted because that's what it reminds me of. It's probably not the most accurate description, but that's what it reminds me of. But I use heavily thinned warm white as my highlight. It softens all of those colors a little bit and gives it a nice little punch at the same time.
Do you just dip your brush in that jar like you would water?
Yes, I use it exactly like I would use water. I also use it when I'm base coating, when I'm doing line work, when I'm doing... It just makes the paint move really, really nicely.
And what is the substitute for foliage?
For foliage green?
Yeah.
Hauser Light.
Hauser Light?
Hauser Light Green, yeah.
Hauser Light Green.
Yep, it's a good substitute. So, remember the little whoopsie that I made down here where I forgot to paint in? I'm going to take a little bit of asphaltum. I'm going to thin that out. And I'm just going to put some thinned asphaltum over top of it. Just so that it melds into that.
Okay.
Just like that.
Need a top up on anything?
I'm good.
You good?
Yep.
God, the camera. Gonna drive me nuts. And I probably won't be able to fix it because it's probably some internal problem.
So, I'm going to take a little bit of warm white. And I'm just going to sort of pity pat our center of our daisies. Neatness doesn't count. Super easy. Just fill in that space real quick. And I've got another little one here. Here we go. Now, I'm putting that warm white in because I'm going to be using a yellow for the center of our flowers, and I really don't want to have to put 4 or 5 coats on. So a little coat of white will help keep that yellow nice and bright because I want the yellow nice and bright. And I'll dry that real quick. Good. We're dry. And so we're going to, from this point, we're going to start base coating these leaves. I'm going to use my number 2 rigger for this. And I'm going to thin out a little warm white. And we're going to start stroking in these petals. Now, I like to use the rigger because I can make this brush do what I want it to do. So I'm going to pull each of those petals like so. And I'm going to make sure that there's a little space between those petals. Just a narrow little space. And I'm pulling the stroke from the tip of the petal down to the center of the flower. And I try to do it in one pull. I don't want to, none of this little short strokey stuff. That's going to give us too much texture. I want to create the stria, those fine lines that you see in a daisy. I want to create those just by putting my stroke in like so. And that way, and this, by the way, is all I'm doing for the base coat. I am not doing another layer. I'm only doing it once because I kind of want these petals to look a little bit transparent, much like a real daisy would be. And that's one of the reasons that I prefer to try and do this in one stroke, because those fine lines that get left behind by the brush are going to give me the appearance of those actual petals and create the texture of those petals at the same time. So there is my base coat for a daisy. And this type of base coat actually works up much quicker than if I was trying to get it, do it in layers. Don't forget, try to maintain that thin space between those petals. There we go. And if you've got enough glaze in that brush, that paint's going to move very nicely for you. It's not going to drive you crazy. Now, it does, however, take a little bit of practice to get that consistency, that paint consistency. If it's too thin, it's going to look runny. It's not going to have that nice smooth look. And by doing it this way, you're going to notice something about how it looks with those leaves underneath. you're going to get that nice crisp border between colors. And there's a couple of little petals here that are underneath the flower. Just tuck those in like that.
Quiet.
It is quiet.
Why is
We're
it
just
quiet?
base coating petals, so it's...
Oh.
Yeah.
Jill was wondering if there's another name for riggers. She's trying to find them locally.
It's a faux squirrel rigger. I don't... As far as I know, I don't think that there is another name for it. Pardon me.
Script liners?
No, a script liner comes to a point. A rigger does not.
Yeah.
Script liner is built more like a round brush than it is anything else. It comes to a sharp needle point. Riggers are blunt. They're square like a flat brush.
What?
What are you giggling about?
I wish my husband took me out as often as Renee takes Dot out.
Well, for those of you that don't know, Miss Dot requires
Assistance.
assistance. Miss Dot is a paraplegic. So, look at that base coat. If I bring that up, you can tell that this is not fully opaque. That's okay. It doesn't need to be completely opaque. So, now I can come down here and I can, or up here I should say, because this one's up top, and stroke in. Easy peasy. We're just going to...
Cut the point off of it? No.
No, we should never cut a brush. Never functions right.
And don't get confused with a dagger brush either.
Yeah, a dagger is another brush altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which they also make in a faux squirrel, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, they make a dagger brush?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, riggers.
Just kidding, says Sheila.
Oh, that was Sheila? That was,
Yeah.
Yeah, Sheila knows better than that.
The guy at the paint store looked at me funny when I said rigger. I had to describe it to him, and he said, "Oh, sign painter brush."
No, that's
No.
a different one again.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
I actually have one of those right here. This is a Dynasty... This is made by Dynasty, but it's
Yeah.
a MAC brush.
It's a MAC brush. So I'm almost done with this, floating these in. These daisies are going to come together really quick because there's not a whole lot of other detail that we have to do to it as far as these petals are concerned. So they're going to come together very fast.
CurtisWard.com.
What is it?
Well, Sheila posted that. What is that? Oh, Introduction to Rigger Brushes. Oh, those are for oils.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oil riggers are different as well.
Yeah. So there I have all of my daisies base coated. I'm going to paint one, take you through it, and then because we are really cruising for time here.
It's called a rigger brush because it's commonly used for painting rigging on maritime paintings. Did not know that. Huh. Or acrylics. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so
Cool.
I'm just going to dry this real quick. Now, the center of these flowers, I'm going to use a little bit of Sunny Day. You can also use, I'm going to throw some Sunny Day in here, but you can use saffron yellow. You can use whatever you want, yellow-wise, really. Whatever works for you. I have Sunny Day on my palette, so that's what I'm going to use. So, I got Sunny Day. And by putting that little bit of warm white down first, I'm not going to have to fight against the reds or the greens to get that color. Yellows are notoriously transparent. Even this Sunny Day, even though it's more opaque than most, it's still a yellow. So it would have to compete against all that red underneath it in order to get that bright sunny color. I'm always amazed at how quickly these daisies come together. I'm going to dry that real quick. So the center of these flowers gets a little bit of orange flame. It's a great orange.
Did you just rinse your brush for the first time doing all those daisies?
Yep. Again, kept the paint nice and smooth.
She seems flabbergasted that that you did that.
So I'm picking up a little bit of orange flame, which is this in your face orange. I love that orange. And I'm going to load my brush to float. And I'm going to put a float of that orange flame at the bottom of that center portion, like so. And again, neatness doesn't really count for this. I'm not looking for the perfect float. I kind of like the texture. If you just sort of pity pat it in, that's fine. And we'll dry this. And then we're going to put a little divot in the center of our flower. I like that term, divot.
It's the helipad marker for the bumblebees.
Yeah. Yep. So it's just a little float in the center of the flower. Just gives it a little indentation like that. And there is our indentation. And now I'm going to tone that. But I'm going to put some shading in the flowers before I do that because I'm going to have to load my brush with some asphaltum and I might as well get it all done once. So we are going to need some Bahama Blue. Little dab of Bahama Blue. We don't need a lot.
Who knew there was going to be Bahama Blue?
Kind of like who knew there was going to be asphaltum. So a little bit of Bahama Blue on my brush. And you're going to love this part because you really don't need to be neat and tidy. Whoa, you do, however, need to make sure you don't have too much water in your brush. Or glaze, for that matter. So I'm going to float right at the base of these petals with a float of Bahama Blue. If you don't have Bahama Blue, use a little bit of cobalt teal hue out of the fluid acrylics. It'll work just fine. Just like that. That little bit of blue is just going to give us a little shadow at the base of the petals. You notice I'm not putzing too much with this. I'm not worried about whether or not it's perfect float. Doesn't matter. I love having that little touch of blue in my flowers. It's a nice little base, and it immediately gives them some shape, that little cup shape. It's just, and it's pretty. So now they have that little bowl shape, that little cup. So we have the brighter value of the white out towards the tip of the flowers, and then we have that blue tone, keeps it kind of cool. It also picks up on the blue in that eucalyptus that's in there. Works really nicely. But now we're going to dry that. And then I'm going to pick up a little bit of asphaltum. And I do mean a little bit. And I'm not using this color full strength. I am thinning it out very heavily. And we're just going to shade in behind, right over that blue. Right back here. And that's going to help give us, just going to accentuate that depth that we were after in our flower. And it also, it changes that blue a little bit, changes it to a little bit of a green cast, which is closer to what the flowers would have. And I've got a horrible line there I'm not happy with, but that's okay. So it deepens that little bowl in the flower. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the same color to the center of the flower, right over top of that orange, because I want to deepen that shadow at the front of the flower. Right in there. There we go. And we're going to do the same thing to that divot. Remember the little divot that we put in? We're going to give that a little shadow too. Just like so. So that deepens our flowers yet again. So I'm going to dry that. Now the only thing we have left to do for these daisies, aside from some finishing touches, is to add a little texture to the centers. And we're going to do that with some warm white and a little bit of either asphaltum or a little bit of soft black. Either one will work. And you can do this a number of different ways. You can do this with a liner brush, with a rigger brush, with a stylus, whatever works for you. So I'm going to use just the tip of my rigger. And I'm going to add some dip dots, some nice white ones. And I take them out past the edge of that center, out onto the flower, out onto the petals. Just like that. It's very random. It's just going to add a little bit of texture to these flowers. So keep the dots small. You don't want them too big. And I like taking them out past the edge of that. It just gives it a softer look. Comme ça. Just like that. Easy peasy, yeah? And again, don't overthink it. Just tip tap them in. I like that they're soft. I also like that they're not perfectly round. I think that those little perfect, round dots have their place. But I like the softer appearance that this sort of irregular dots gives. And then I'm going to repeat that. You can do it with a little bit of black or with a little bit of asphaltum on the shaded side. And again, you're going to take that out onto the petals a little bit, just like you did with the white. You don't want a ton of it on there, but it's going to give your flowers a nice soft texture in there. Nice and random. Don't worry about getting them too perfect, but do try to tuck them in. You should always try to get a few of them sort of mixed in with some of the white ones. Otherwise you end up with two bands and it doesn't look natural. So you want to just like that. Super easy. Sweet. So there are our daisies. Now, all we have left in here is, we'll talk about that lettering, but we need to paint these bumblebees, and we need to put all of those little finishing vines and tendrils and connecting things in there. But we're going to paint those bumblebees first. So I'm going to take a little of that. You can use Sunny Day. You can use saffron yellow. If you have a favorite yellow, use that. Who said it has to be Sunny Day? Not me. It can be any favorite yellow. I am very partial to either Sunny Day or saffron yellow. They're my two favorite yellows. I go through them like crazy. And I use them often. So I'm going to paint their fuzzy butt yellow. Like so. Now this is what I call the fast and dirty method for fuzzy butt bumblebees. You'll see why in a second. Fast and dirty. These bumblebees are not meticulous. They are not perfect. I don't like perfect things. They're boring. And these have a very painterly look to them. They don't come across as being a sticker or a stamp. They're, they have that nice painterly look to them. Okay, so we're going to, now that these are dry, we're going to add our shading color to our Bumblebee. And I'm going to do that with a little bit of that same color that I used in my daisies. And I'm going to use that orange flame. And we're going to float one side of the Bumblebee with that orange flame. Just like that. There is that. I love that orange. That orange flame is just such a pretty color for bumblebees. And we're going to dry this. Now I use the same process regardless of how big or how small these bumblebees are. So if they're these little tiny fuzzy butt ones or whether they're the larger ones, it doesn't matter. I use the same process for both. And then I'm going to take a little bit of asphaltum. Again, just a weak float, heavily thinned. And I'm just going to put another little float on my bumblebee. Again, all it's doing is just toning that orange. That's all it's doing. Just keeping it from looking too garish, that's all. Now, the wings of our bumblebee. Remember the Bahama blue that we used in the daisies? We're going to use that on the wings as well. Little float of that close to where the body joins the wings. Just like so. I love this blue. It looks so pretty.
Oh, what a mess.
It's just such a great color to shade whites with.
Is this being recorded?
It
Yes,
is.
absolutely.
Yep. It will be up on our YouTube channel. So I've got my shading on the wings, just a touch of that Bahama blue, same way we used it on the flowers. Just a nice little float close to the body. Dry this. And again, I'm going to deepen that blue with just a touch of asphaltum. Just a touch. It's a weak float. We don't need a ton of it. And all it does is just tone that blue a little bit. Deepens that float just a scooch. There we go. And this is where our Bumblebee really starts to take shape.
Oh, I don't know when that was asked, but they were asking what brush you were using. So.
Well, I was painting the Bumblebee, so it would have been my 3/8 angle. I was using yeah, I think that would be it. So I'm going to use, you can use either a rigger or a liner for this part. I'm just going to paint the body of the Bumblebee. This is a little bit of thinned lamp black. So the head and the body. These are very simplistic bumblebees. We are not talking about hyper-realistic bumblebees here. I call them fuzzy butt bumblebees because by the time I'm done, they look kind of fuzzy.
Where can you buy the pattern? At tracymoreau.net.
Right on the front page, the homepage of my website, there is a link to whatever class we're teaching on this Saturday. So there's a link directly right there. So you don't have to go cruising around the website.
Oh, yeah, simplified it.
I did. Well, it's been up like that for a long time.
Oh, so right on the front page.
Yep.
Bang, zoom.
So our Bumblebee needs feet. So he's going to get a little stroke of black. And then I just use like little dots to create legs and feet. So little stroke and little dots. So he's got feet.
When will the Honeycomb stencil be back in stock? I have tons.
We have tons. We may have to adjust it. We've had an issue on the website where our inventory, the software, has a glitch. And so the inventory is not showing, but we have tons in stock. So we will get that fixed today.
I'm going to just see what it says.
And we have 2 honeycomb stencils with the honeycomb background, and then we have a honeycomb stencil with 3 different sizes on it. So he's got feet now.
And 274?
74 is the background.
Yeah.
You can adjust inventory from there. But yes, I know we have lots of everything because we have literally just restocked everything. So, Bumblebee, we need to give him some stripes. So I'm doing that with a liner brush, and we're going to start right about here, about halfway. And I'm just using the liner brush to put in a series of little lines. And then I'm going to go back over it, like so. So there's our first stripe. And then at the bottom, this is his fuzzy butt. I do the same thing here. So fuzzy butt. He's cute. I like these little bees. I think they're fun. And then don't forget that little bit at the bottom. And it really is just a little series of vertical lines like so, all the way across. And then I go over it again so that it gives it sort of a dry look. And a little fuzzy butt. And then we're going to add a highlight with some thinned warm white.
It says we have 30.
For that one, check 19. So I've now got a little bit of warm white. We're going to do the same thing, those little lines on the yellow.
It says we have 0 for that one.
Yeah, I know we've got those.
Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
There we go. So that highlight is on the highlight side of the bee, and it's just a little stroke of warm white. Make sure that they overlap with the black stripe to give you that highlight. And then we're going to use a 1/4 inch angled shader, little itty bitty one.
There. It's been
And
updated.
we're going to put a highlight on our bumblebee on the top of his head and on that middle piece. So I've thinned out this warm white quite a bit. I don't want it full strength. So we're going to put a little highlight like this and a little highlight right there. So we just want to divide this section into 2 pieces, basically. So if you have a look here, top of the head, straight across. So we get that division. Now I'm going to dry this. I love bumblebees.
Yeah, I think I got a few of those too.
Yeah. Yeah, they had some software issues with our... I was on the phone with GoDaddy. They're really great. They're so helpful. So our little bee needs some highlight, so I'm just going to put a little stroke of white on the highlight side of our bee. Just like that. So we're going to, this is the point where we're going to talk about, well, not talk about, we're going to do it. Going to do all of those what I call the connectors, the things that connect everything. But I'm going to start with a clean palette because I've got an unholy mess going here. So I've got a clean palette. Move this over. And we need some matcha green or margarita or olive green. We just need a nice bright green or foliage green or Hauser light. Any one of those will work. So I'm going to take out my liner and I'm going to thin out some matcha green with a little bit of glaze. I want this really thin so that it comes off that liner nice and smooth.
There.
Okay.
Plaid stencil's updated as well.
So this is where I like doing I just do this sort of loose little outline.
Can't find the butter chicken recipe?
I will pop the link up for you guys when I'm done. So I like putting that, that loose little line, scribbly line, if you will, around the edges of my leaves. And it is a loose, scribbly line. It is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Hang on here.
Crystal Hendricks is wondering, she'll be placing a rather large order. Should I hold off until this evening when you get the inventory updated?
Well, Renee just finished updating it. If you want to, I mean, by all means. But
go ahead
we
and
will fix it.
Hopefully there's nothing else that's screwed up.
What gets me is that was all updated the day the shipment came in, and then they had all of those issues last week. So
hopefully those were the only two affected.
Hopefully. So I like putting that squiggly line work around those little leaves. They don't even have to be accurate. And this is also when I just I stroke in those little vines and tendrils.
I posted the link for the butter chicken recipe. Nah.
So we've got, I love little curlicues, little vines, little tendrils.
No poop, I didn't go back far enough. They're still they really like your butter chicken recipe, I guess.
Oh, butter chicken is just so yummy.
Yum, yum, yum.
I haven't made it in a while. I made tikka the last time. No, I did make butter chicken.
Sylvia, I just updated that one as well.
Yep.
Yeah, the new plaid stencil has been updated. There should be 31.
Yep.
It said 0. I adjusted it.
Yep. Yeah, GoDaddy's had some glitchy stuff happen to it in the last little while.
I'm just gonna do a quick. See what else. That's another one.
Which one?
Postage stencil.
Oh, I know we have lots of those.
It's 29? 29. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we got enough of those.
Yeah, we ordered. So I've got all my little stems, all my little vines, my little tendrils are all stroked in. I do have to put, I'm going to get a little bit of that desert cactus. Thin that out to put the stems on my eucalyptus. There we go.
Fix that one as well.
There we go. So we have all of our little vines and tendrils have been added. Now, there's a lot of graphite lines still showing. We'll clean that up with a Factus Black, but we do have a few little details left to do. But before we do any of it, I want to talk about that lettering. I'm going to grab my rigger and some warm white. Now, the lettering for this is super simple, and it is, again, very much like we did the petals on the daisies. Lots and lots of glaze in that brush, and you're going to thin it out. You want that paint to be able to move nice and smooth. And your lettering is just going to be painted in with that warm white. And I like doing it like this. I'm not worried about this lettering being absolutely perfect. I don't even care if it's not fully opaque, but I do want it smooth. So I try to pull the stroke all the way down in one go so that it gives me a nice smooth coverage. So straight across and then down. Each of those strokes comes right to the bottom of the letter. Do you see where I'm going with this? So that we get lots of vertical lines. Vertical lines are fine. It's when we get lines going in 10 different directions that it becomes an issue.
Yeah, we have those.
2, 3. Not as many as I thought we had. It's definitely more than what the inventory thinks that we have.
Yeah. So their GloDaddy is working on fixing that glitch, but so this is how simple that lettering is. It's just literally painting in those wide spots, but try to do it in one pull all the way to the bottom. And then that way, no matter how thin the paint is, it looks uniform because all of those little lines are all going in the same direction. And it matches our daisies.
Apparently we only have one of those.
What's that?
Paw print.
Really? There's got to be at least 36. Yeah.
It's this one, 72. Yeah. Well, that's more than one.
Yeah.
2. Yeah, there's definitely 31 more than they think we have. There we go. That's still one of my favorite stencils.
Which one?
The paw prints.
Cool. So I'm almost finished with this lettering, except I'm going to put all of our,
Oh, Patrick's off.
yeah, well, it's getting late for Patrick.
It's dinner time. I'll probably rewatch the video later. Have fun. Take care. See you next week.
See you next week, Patrick. Stay safe.
See you Tuesday. Oh, no.
Yeah?
No, because when we broadcast, he's in bed.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Okay, so I have the base down on this lettering. I'm going to dry it. I like this style because it has a sort of distressed appearance to it, but it still looks nice and smooth. Everything goes in the right direction. So dry that real quick, and then we're going to shade it. We're going to shade it with a little bit of Bahama Blue. Now, you can do this with cobalt teal hue. You can do it with Bahama Blue. You could do it with sky blue, but I'm using Bahama Blue because that's my blue. That's my favorite blue.
Were you using the rigger brush for your lettering?
I was, number 2. Ew, my Bahama Blue has separated. It's a new bottle. There we go. So I'm going to grab my 3/8 angle and I'm going to pick up a generous amount because I want a rather substantial float for this. Here we go. Look at that. It's a great color. And all of the bottoms of my lettering are going to get a float of Bahama Blue. Just like so. And we got all of our collage stencils came in this week. So if you've been looking for that postal script, we have lots of them in stock. And we also got in a couple of new ones because I'm weak and I had to have the new toys. So we got Monarch, which is a new one, and Flutter.
Flutter?
Yeah. Flutter's got dragonflies on it.
Ah, yeah. Should have guessed. Hope the election goes well. Oh, yeah, France is having an election.
Yeah, be interesting to see if Macron is still in power at the end of this. So, yeah.
Are we keeping you awake, Renee?
I think he's just hungry.
I don't even know. What are we doing for dinner?
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti?
So I've got a nice little float of Bahama Blue at the bottom of each of those letters. I like this look. Just gives a little
Ooh. We're going on 4 o'clock.
I know. It's a long one, considering it was pretty simple. But I am going to show them quickly how to do that. Stenciling lettering to make it look hand painted as opposed to stenciled. So I'm going to thin out some warm white, and all of those connecting lines, we're just going to stroke that in, just like that. I like this one. It's very forgiving on this font because this is a kind of rustic font anyway. So if it's not absolutely perfect, if it's not, that's okay.
Yeah. Microphone attacked my beard.
Did it get caught?
Yeah. It's anti-vibration elastics that...
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So, and this is what I like about a font that is perhaps not as rigid as some. Oops. My brush just whoopsied.
Why'd you do that?
That's okay. So all you do is just connect all of those straight lines with your liner brush. Super easy. So I'm going to let that dry. Because I'm making a mess over here and I don't want to mess it up. So I'm going to let that dry for a sec. And then we're going to talk about the details on these flowers and the bumblebees. And I do that. If you paint anything of mine, you know that I use this blessed pen all the time. And that bumblebee is just going to get a sketchy line, little sketchy line on the edges of the wings. Just like that.
Apparently you make floating look so easy.
It's because I don't worry about it. And then on that fuzzy, this is why my bees look like fuzzy butts, because I use that same sketchy line on the outside of my bumblebees. There's my fuzzy butt bumblebee. I don't worry about getting that, that sketchy line doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be exactly on the edge of the wing. It doesn't have to be meticulous. It's more interesting if it's not.
There's a question. Will this original be available on your website
It will.
later on?
Yep. And I just had so many people ask about that, so I thought, why not?
So it's going up.
And if you're looking at any of those finished pieces that are on there, the original pieces, that price includes the shipping.
Yeah, it's a flat rate.
It's a flat rate, so it includes the shipping. somebody messaged me and asked me if those prices were right. And I said, do you think they're too high? She went, no. She thought they were too low. And I thought, well, I need to clear some space in this studio.
I still think we should have held an auction.
Well, that would have been fun too, but we don't really have the time.
Yeah, and the setup for an auction is a pain in the butt.
Yeah, we looked at that. So I just do the same thing to my flowers. I just give that a light, sketchy line around the edges of the petals. Now you can do this or not. If you don't want to, then don't. It doesn't matter. I just like how it looks. That's just a me thing. It's not essential to the design by any stretch of the imagination. So if you're not keen on doing the, that sketchy look to it, then don't do it. I just happen to like it. It's what makes my daisies look the way they do. And I have like 5 teapots yet to paint.
Keeping her busy.
You guys are keeping me busy. That's a good thing. I'm rather excited about it. I kind of like the look. I like the idea of having a matching teapot for the teacups. And I think they're kind of cute. It is a fat little teapot.
Wow. It's a long time.
What's that?
Somebody ordered something on the 22nd of March. Still hasn't got it.
Really? Okay. It happens from time to time if things go missing. And if they do, we take care of it. We'll make sure you get your thing. But from the 22nd to the 4 weeks is a bit long. 3 weeks isn't unheard of, but 4 weeks is a bit long. So we'll check it out. It all depends on where it's going to. But generally 3 weeks is the limit, or it seems to be. So, yeah, I'm just using that Uniball. I like these ones. This is what gives my flowers the look that they have.
What is that? Gail Jensen. Let's have a peek. January, February, March.
It would be her most recent one, I would think.
So, Tombstone and 2 stencils.
When did it ship?
It was apparently shipped the next day.
Okay. Well, no worries, Gail. It's been 3 weeks. If it hasn't turned up now, it's probably lost or on its way.
Is that the one we got back because of customs issues?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that one went right back out the other day.
Yeah. Okay, so that was our issue.
Yeah, we had a problem with customs on that one.
Yeah.
They sent it back to us.
So you.
Should be 7 to 10 days
Yeah.
at the most.
And that went out last week.
Last week, yeah.
Yeah. So you should see it hopefully by the end of next week.
Yep. And if you don't, let me know. We'll expedite We'll expedite a replacement. So I've got all of those little sketchy lines just sort of soften my daisies a little. It also gives you a chance to throw in a few little, tiny little texture details and whatnot. But I'm going to finish this lettering out a little bit. This is the fun part. I like leaving these little lines till the end because you can clean up, some wobbly bits, some baubles and things like that you don't, that you kind of want to cover up. That's one of the nice things about doing this line work at the end, is that if there's things that you're not thrilled with.
Are you going to do more fleur de
Printemps?
printemps?
I actually, yes.
You have you got that planned?
Uh-huh.
Can't hear you?
Oh, that's because I moved away from the mic. Sorry. I had my head down and was looking away from the mic.
I used black Uniball pen a lot and sometimes don't like the effect, and then go back and look the next day and like it.
Yeah. Well, it's like anything, right? Sometimes it's you've had it in front of your face for however long and you're just not keen. Happens to me all the time.
Would be a good idea to base coat a few 8x8s just to get the teapot for to head. Someone's typing faster than their brain.
That would be me most of the time.
Yeah. And my brain's moving faster than my mouth, so.
Yeah.
To get a head start, I'm guessing is what she's saying.
Yeah. Well, some of the teapots are going to be a little bit different.
Oh.
A little bit different. Not dramatically so, but a little bit.
So, Gail Jensen, I don't know if you're still in our chat, but in regards to your order, it was a customs issue. It did come back to us, and we sent it right back out once the customs issue was
sorted out.
So you should get it by the end of next week.
Yeah.
Should be there.
And if it's not, let us know, please, so that we can expedite a replacement for you.
Yeah. There's 2 stencils and a tombstone surface.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So I'm going to dry this real quick because we got one more little step to do, and that is to spatter this. I like to go over this with a little bit of thinned warm white and a little bit of thinned lamp black, just to gives it a, I don't know. Spattering just gives everything a sort of a country feel, I think. Okay. I kind of like it.
She says, okay, thanks.
Good.
Yep.
But please let us know if there's a problem with any order.
Yeah.
We can't fix it if we don't know it's broken.
Yeah, that is a long time. That is a month.
Yeah, that's a full month. I'm finding lately things are 7 to 10 days, business days, and they're there. So I'm going to spatter with a little bit of warm white first because I like the softening effect it gives.
Boom, boom, boom.
Bang, zoom.
Multiple teapots, question mark?
5 of them. 5 more of them.
Well, it's got to go with the...
With the flowers.
How many teacups?
We have 6 teacups.
Oh, I see the teapot.
Yeah.
You're going to do that for a Saturday?
I've already been told I have to.
Was that Jessica's?
Jessica loves that one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's going to be a Saturday.
It probably, yeah.
You just don't have the pattern written up yet, do you?
Oh, that one's already on the website.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
You want to grab it and we can show them?
Okay. Do you want to do it next Saturday or do you have plans for next Saturday?
I don't have any plans for next Saturday. We can do that one if they want. I'm game.
What do the people think?
What do people think?
What do people think?
I love it.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's one of those ones where I giggled when I was finished with it.
Wait a minute. I got an idea. Oh, I can't do it on Facebook. But I can do it on YouTube.
What's that?
What?
So, I have... And I just saw another. I have been. I'm telling you, I'm a rocket scientist today. I just realized I forgot a little vine right here.
A little vignette? No, vignette is...
There we go.
It's a shadow.
Okay, so this is the teapot we were talking about. I think it's cute. So, yeah. Daisy's teapot. So...
All right, who said no? I'm kidding. Yeah, Judy Thacker says got the teapot pattern already. Came in late. What time do you start your lesson?
We're at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. Yeah. So I spattered this with a little bit of thinned warm white, and then again I went over it, spattered it with a little bit of lamp black. I like it. So we have our home sweet home. So before I let you all off the hook, we want to talk about stenciling lettering so that it looks like it's hand painted. So let's, I'm just going to use, I've got a little sample board here. I'm going to put this stencil down.
You
What?
move your palette and move your project.
Out of the way?
Oh, you can move
To
your
safety.
project closer to your palette
I will, yeah.
so that you get it
So-
all in the frame.
So I'm just going to do the word honey. Because there's no point in me doing all of it when I can explain it with one word. So I'm going to grab a clean stencil brush. That would be awesome.
98% say yes. So that means there's 2% of you that are saying no to the teapot. Question mark?
Oh,
I'm
it
wondering.
might not be that teapot.
Might not be that teapot. Do you have multiple patterns for teapots on the website?
I have, no, not yet.
Not yet?
No, but I have multiple designs for teapots.
Oh.
So, yeah. So I've got a little bit of warm white in this case. And I've got my stencil securely taped down. You don't want the stencil to move. I'm going to tape off the word fresh so that I don't get everywhere. And I'm going to use warm white, and I'm going to stencil in a circular fashion and change directions frequently. We want to get this application as smooth as we can. So circular fashion, change directions frequently.
So we got an unequivocal yes for the
Okay.
teapot.
Okay. That makes my life so much simpler.
Yeah, just ask the community what they want to do.
Yeah. So, circular fashion, change directions frequently. And then you're going to dry that first coat, and you're going to do it again.
Half the people didn't vote. And we still got the people on Facebook. I couldn't do a poll on Facebook.
Yep.
So
I'm putting another coat onto my lettering. Just because I want this lettering to be nicely opaque. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I want it nicely opaque.
teapot it is.
So then I'm going to remove my stencil. So I've got nice, crisp, clean lettering stenciled on.
Now to make it look like it's brushed.
And now I'm going to make it look like it's been brush lettered. I'm going to take a little bit of that warm white and my rigger brush. And this is where we're going to kill off the bridges. Now the bridges are those little spaces where you have on lettering. So I'm going to take my rigger and I'm going to paint in that bridge. Like so. And you may have to do it in a couple of coats. And I'm going to do the same thing to the H. We want to get rid of that bridge. So I'm going to dry it. It's going to look a little patchy at this stage. That's okay.
Yeah, one should know Tracy never just does one.
No, I don't. I tend to get a little obsessive. And then you're going to do a second coat over top of that bridge.
We're just happy with whatever Tracy paints. Well, if you guys want the teapot, you're going to get the teapot. And the teapot thing has been a thing.
It's been an ongoing thing.
That she has realized her community is begging and pleading for a teapot because she keeps doing teacups.
Yeah, and I have a thing for teacups.
Yeah, not so much teapots.
So
Or kettles.
Once you get that bridge painted in, you can take your brush and you can just put one coat right over top of your stencil lettering.
Are they going to be on an 8x8?
Yes, I've been trying to keep the size as consistent as I can.
There you go.
And 8x8s are pretty standard. They're easy to get and they're affordable.
Yeah.
So I've painted in that bridge, but so now I'm just going to go back in and even out that coat a little bit. And look at how nice and consistent these letters are. And at the same time, they have the look of being hand painted because there's no bridges, there's no spaces. That's the one thing I truly detest about stenciled lettering is that bridge. So if I can make it go away, I'm making it go away.
How about a coffee pot?
Ooh, could do that too.
And cup?
Mug. Oh,
French press.
a French press would be so cool.
A French press.
French press. So that is how you get rid of that bridge. You just want to make sure that your coat is nice and consistent. However, let me show you a little trick.
Faye Reed says, I caved and ordered all the CD wood stencils.
Oh, I know. I shipped them. I love them. I think they're fabulous. So here's a little trick. You want to get this lettering to really look cool. I'm going to put a little float underneath that little swirl, that little archway. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So now that letter takes on a little more shape, a little more dimension. You can still do the same thing. Come down here, put your little float in along the bottom of your lettering.
How about an antique French chocolate pot?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Take a little bit of research to find out what they look like to get a really nice one, but yeah. So I love stuff like that. So that, remember, everything that I've done to my hand-painted lettering, I do to that stencil lettering. It's just making those bridges go away, those little gaps in the overall design. So when you're looking at a stencil, no, flip this over. This here is called a bridge. That little bit of plastic that keeps the center of the O in. That little bit of plastic here. And on the A here and here. Those little things are called bridges. And as nice as this lettering looks, this looks stenciled to me. And I really prefer that, that more brushed or hand-painted look. And so I get rid of those bridges. So you can stencil the lettering on and then just take the time to paint out those bridges so that you get a really nice finished.
You don't want that ammo can look.
I don't want ammo can look. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So when you look at the lettering here, this has all been done with the stencil. I just took the time to paint out the bridges. And so what I ended up with is this nice dimensional looking, hand painted looking lettering, just by adding those floats at the bottom, those highlights on the upper edges, and then getting rid of those bridges in the lettering gives you a much nicer finish in the end. So that's it. That's how you paint our home sweet home and how you stencil to make that lettering look.
And back on camera.
Hello. Well, we went longer than we normally do today, but that's okay. I had fun. I hope you did too.
3 hours and 13 minutes so far. That's a good class.
It was a good class. It was a lot of fun, but there was a lot of things going on in this piece too. So, not a bad thing. I hope that you enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun doing it, and of course, I always love gabbing and listening to Renee ask me all your questions. And when it comes to questions, whenever you have one, go to the front page of my website at tracymoreau.net, click on the little speech bubble in the lower right-hand corner and send me your question. Those messages come directly to me, and I try to answer them as quickly as I possibly can. So don't be shy. If there's anything you're wondering about whether it's a technique or a product, whatever it is, don't hesitate to reach out and fire a question at me. And Renee is doing a little dance off the corner because he still has one more thing to give away.
Yeah.
So,
well, Janet was worried.
yeah, okay. Well, we don't want to
Janet
worry
was worried
anybody.
that there was only 2 giveaways today.
Oh, no, there's 3.
There's 3. There's always 3.
There's always 3.
Sometimes 4.
Yep. Depends.
Depends on the day.
Well, and it all depends on what kind of goodies we get, too. So,
And it was Studio R12 or call out.
Yep.
Or shout out.
Our shout out for
Call
this
out.
week was Studio R12 stencils. I love their stencils. Patricia Rollinson has stuff. There's also a Dynasty a reservoir liner in your prize pack too, which is
there you go.
what we
Faux
affectionately
squirrel?
refer to as the pregnant liner. Yes, of course it's a faux squirrel.
It's a faux squirrel. I am looking at the wrong monitor.
So we have one of those in there, and of course there's some swag.
All right. Let's spin this wheel. Who we got? Who do we got? Who gets a goodie? Oh, it stopped.
There it goes. Me.
That's what I get for copying and pasting.
I know. You're gonna have to spin it again because I don't need
I'm
it.
gonna click the remove button on that one. That's too funny.
That is funny.
Let's do it again.
Give
Of
me
all
a
people.
Give me a stencil is like taking a sandwich to a banquet. I've been removed.
Janine Marshall. Jan.
Yeah.
Janine.
Jean.
Jean.
Marshall. Jean Marshall. I'm pretty sure that we have Jean's shipping information too, but Sheena, if you don't think we do, please just hit the speech bubble on the front page of the website and send us your shipping information so we can get your goodies out to you this week. Everything gets shipped out of here on the Monday following the live, so if you don't see it within a couple of weeks, please let us know. And in the meantime, I have a whole bunch of teapots I gotta paint.
All right, I gotta close this.
I have a whole bunch of things I gotta paint. I have more teacups coming too. So,
Ooh.
this was fun. I enjoyed doing this one. And so, big thanks to Studio R12 for our
Jeannie.
giveaway. Jeannie, okay. Jeannie Marshall.
Like Jeannie. Look, she's in the chat. She's here on YouTube. Jeannie Marshall. Congratulations.
So yes, big thanks to Studio R12 for my bee stencil. I love it. And to the goodies that we give out today. Join us next Saturday. We will post the class and the
wanna
artwork,
show
the
the
photographs and whatnot up on the homepage of the website. If you go to my the front page of my website, scroll down a little bit. It says Saturday Live underneath there, YouTube Live, and the link to the class pattern and the dates and any information is on there too. We did add, what are you pointing at?
Show the teapot.
Okay, here's,
That's what you're painting.
this is the teapot.
You're painting the teapot on next Saturday.
It's a fun one. It's a fun one. So we're painting teapot. It is on an 8x8. It's fun.
And the pattern's available right
And the
now.
pattern is on the website. So,
Go check it out.
what else was I going to say? I was going to say something. Forgot what it was.
Members, we'll see you on Tuesday night.
Tuesday night. We have some fun stuff to tell you about.
7 o'clock
Eastern
Eastern Standard Time.
He wasn't sure.
So
So Tuesday night, we are painting. I love these.
Oh, you going to show it off?
Of course. Tuesday night, we are painting these. It is called
You lost it.
Florals by Definition is the name of the piece.
Florals
Sis, we're going to be covering these. These are a little different. We're going to have a little fun with this. They're poppies and daffodils and sunflowers. This is very mixed media. We got lots of stuff going on in these. And we do have some nice giveaways for you guys.
Which one are you painting?
The poppy.
We're doing the poppy on Tuesday.
We're going to do the poppy on Tuesday. We got lots of fun stuff to do. This is an interesting pattern because it they'll understand when they see it and how it's done. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So yes, we are doing the poppy on Saturday. We're going to have a great time with that. And your new pattern will be available May 1st. It will be up on the paid membership download section of my website. That is a member only section. So you have to be granted access to that and be a paid member in order to access the goodies that are on there. I did post some new line drawings and I have a challenge for you guys. So there is some new line drawings up there for you. And there are some new printables up on the website too. If you haven't been looking in the last week, go and check that out. There's some stuff up there as well in the free printables section. And bunch of new patterns because I have been painting a lot the last couple of weeks. So there's a bunch of new stuff up there. So go and check it out. As always, guys, thanks so much for joining us every Saturday. We really appreciate it. We have a lot of fun with you guys here. And if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please hit the big red button. And if you're feeling adventurous and like to be tortured and enjoy a lot of painting and crafting and have fun, hit the join button.
Tortured.
Tortured. I
Tortured.
torture them in a good way. It's a good way. We have a lot of fun. So, but in the meantime, guys, please stay safe this week. No numbers are creeping up all over the place. So,
Tuesday, members, you're going to see how easy it is to find the live.
yes, you're gonna be. I'm so excited about this.
This is going to be awesome.
Yes, we have found the answer to our prayers.
Finally.
So,
It just took
it's exciting. So
nearly a year.
yeah, but we finally have that. So join us, members, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We'll post the information up on the Facebook group and in the YouTube community. So having said all of that,
You're about to lose your PG rating?
Am I?
What? What?
Oh, my shirt. I think I almost lost. I did lose a button. Okay.
This should be
Fabulous. I've been flashing people all day. That's great.
YouTube? Sorry. We just got demonetized, I bet.
Oh, no.
Wait, is this even monetized right now? No, it's not even monetized right now.
Okay. So maybe we're safe.
Maybe we're okay.
Okay.
might
There
have
is a
to
button
click-
there. It just
I might have to
wasn't
click
working.
partial nudity.
Oh. Okay. Now that I'm thoroughly embarrassed. Thanks for joining us, guys. We love you. Stay safe.
Yeah.